Are we gonna get a countdown or?
1 second. 1 second. Yeah. Okay, all right. Five, four, three, two, one, and go.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Just a little late for today, but we are here. This is your boy Dave from the Third Intermission podcast, and of course, the right hand of the king himself, Avery Lewis McDougal, out here. We are watching the Leaf Dem take on the Columbus Blue Jackets. This is the second meeting of the season. Of course, Columbus had dopey the Leafs 6-3 earlier on in the season, so this is their second meeting. First in Toronto. We're just getting caught up now as Charlie Coyle is going into the box right now, and the Leafs are on the power play right now. Avery, what's going on?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Busy day so far. Getting ready for this game. A lot of things going on, but it's good to do season game of the week with a YouTube aspect this time around, Dave.
Of course. Nice to see that Callie Yarncroc is in the lineup. In fact, he's on the penalty power play unit actually. He's on the first power play unit, which is kind of surprising. I guess Craig Berube's looking for an opportunity for him to actually show what he's capable of in case they at least have to make trades.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, just getting everybody caught up on things. Of course, no Matthews, Matthias Michelli. Of course, on the fourth line, Kelly Yardcrook on one of the top six forwards for the evening. Troy Stecker, of course, also in the lineup tonight. Joseph Wall between the pipes. Uh, and of course, this is going to be significantly huge for the Leafs as they're just reeling from a 3-2 victory back on Tuesday against St. Louis. I noticed that Avery has disappeared a little bit, so I'm
I
going to
got
check.
my studio lights cut out for a second.
Okay. This is what happens when you don't pay your bills, folks.
All right, there we go. This guy talking about paying bills, and one thing for the Leafs watching right now. This is a team that we mentioned they lost five in a row. Need to spark here. They need to strike first two in this power play.
It's nice to see that like Toronto are starting to get shots on net and great chances, especially with this first power play unit. Of course, Suns, Austin Matthews. Of course, Austin right now still taking skates as he gets himself ready to get himself inserted back into the lineup. Would be nice to actually get his scoring touch and his play back into the lineup. Of course, Toronto really needs that as they are having an abysmal April right now. They're currently 9-9-2 on the season right now. Meanwhile, Columbus is just having a stellar season as of late. Zach Werenski, of course, hitting 4,000 points against Winnipeg just the other day. So, of course, Columbus right now just doing very well defensively. Of course, power play is done as the Leafs go back to 5-on-5. Just catching you up on everything really quickly
Mm-hmm.
before we go through. Of course, Columbus went down 5-2, but right now Columbus is currently sitting at 10-8-2 on the season right now. I'm not gonna lie, the Eastern Conference is a bit of a crapshoot, or not
Oh, it
even a crap,
is.
just a massive traffic jam. Because if you look at the standings right now between every single Eastern Conference team, there is literally a 10-point difference from first to 16th, and the Leafs are just 8 points behind Carolina.
Yeah, that logjam is wild right now. And again, we can talk about the NHL's forcing parity right now, but the Eastern Conference right now is very competitive. Like it is actually for real competitive over this past few months here, Dave, or past month.
Yeah, it's insane because it's like you have in the division alone, it's like the Atlantic is literally separated by 7 points, and Toronto actually has a chance to literally catch up to third within like 2 games, barring that say certain teams lose, like for example Boston, Montreal, Tampa Bay, Ottawa, and Florida. Like Florida, the defending Stanley Cup champions, are currently sitting at 21 right now, and we're only a point behind them. That's crazy.
Again, to Florida, that's a banged up team. That's one thing is that when you go to a cup final that many years in a row as an older
Hmm.
team, that's gonna wear down on you. You again, Florida's not a young team. That's a team with a
No.
lot of older guys. We know again. We've seen we've seen Brad Marchand. Matthew Kachuk has broken every bone in his body multiple times. Bobrovsky's getting older. That's a team where,
Mhm.
and again, you go through. We're seeing in the West with Edmonton, and now Florida. That's a lot of hockey to be played, and that many short off seasons wears down on you, no matter who you are.
Exactly. I mean, what Vegas had been to the Cup final back in 2023. They haven't been back since. Florida's been there three straight times and they've won twice. I feel like at this you're kind of just like, okay, you know what? The machine needs to stop. Tampa Bay was the same way. Of course, as Matthias Michelli gets himself into the sin bin for tripping. Um, so Toronto's on the penalty kill right now. Marchenko, Werenski, Fantilli, Monahan, and Voronkov, of course, on the power play unit for Columbus right now. Toronto sitting 20th in the penalty kill at killing off 78.3% of their penalties, while Columbus is currently 22nd overall on the power play unit as they've capitalized on 17, just over 17% of their power plays. So this is going to be very interesting right now.
Oh, exactly.
I can't say it's really a battle of the basement dwellers, but just right now it's still very early in the season. We're only hitting the quarter century mark.
I mean, not that early. I mean, this is when you're starting to see. This is when you're starting to see who the pretenders are and the contenders are. So it's not that early. This is where some teams are gonna start to panic. Some teams are gonna really think about where they are in the conference, no matter if it's the East or West. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
of course, there's exceptions to every rule every season, but
Yeah,
this is when we're gonna start to really see what teams are made of now. Now that we're approaching American Thanksgiving.
exactly. And you know what? Obviously, Toronto has to find a way to just reactivate that power play unit because just like if I'm going into the season with like 17, if I'm going into like say 20, 21, 22 games and I've only converted about say just under 18% of my power plays, that's kind of a little eye-opening.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like now that you have Kelly Yarncroc on the on the first unit and no Matthews, it's like okay, you're losing some of your scoring touch and you're losing some of your scoring power. But then again, you still have a solid replacement in Cali Yarncroc.
No, exactly. As right now, shots on goal 5-2 for Toronto, and again, we're gonna be playing the game if we get a goal from either Columbus or Toronto. Whose stream is further ahead? Dave's or Avery's? We'll see. We'll play that game again if we do get a goal here shortly.
I mean, I'm currently seeing 6 shots on goal as opposed to 5 for the Leafs.
Okay, so yeah, so Dave's ahead of me probably by a few seconds here in this stream.
Oh, Nylander had a chance to get a break and he just kind of blew it on the blue line. Of course, Columbus taking control back as they pressure into the offensive zone. Of course, Columbus trying to make a change right now as the Leafs had just made a change. Max Domi's on the ice right now, trying to clear, getting it over the center, and then of course, as I'm losing my voice a little bit here, um, it looks like nobody's scored within the first 10 minutes. And of course, if you are a betting fan right now, if you had put some money on FanDuel right now, nobody scored within the first 10 minutes. So I don't know if you've gotten your money back or if you lost a little bit, but just be careful of that going forward, folks. And it looks like we got nice and call, so it will go back into Columbus's end. Um, Folks, I know some of you have probably figured out what icing is, considering you're watching a hockey stream right now. But if you don't know what it is, obviously it's just you blasting the puck into the other team's end and without a care in the world. Um, Actually, I do want to make a correction here. Zach Werenski getting his 400th career point, not his 4,000th
Yo,
career
I
point.
was gonna say, what kind of math are you on? Yo, this man's on. This
I
man's
saw
on.
4,000. My bad. Okay.
This man is on some absurd math right now. I think, wait a minute, 4,000. What?
Nah, man. That's what I saw on TSN. So
As you saw, yo, this man is out here with the Ontario education system.
Listen, okay, it's better than the American education system.
Well, that, I got thoughts on that that are not fit for this live stream, but that's for a different day. That's for a different day, and different podcast. But I digress. Yo, you laughing, but yo, I mean, again, this is all. Again, we can go into the hockey player education, but no, that's for a different day and time. But
Yeah.
with that being said, I look at the standings in the NHL, and I
Mhm.
know it's on the Eastern Conference, but man, Dave, I am still, who still I'm still surprised by this year
Ooh,
is the Anaheim Ducks. They are still in top three in the Pacific Division. Anaheim is finding ways to play consistent hockey so far this season.
I feel like it was time for them to finally get something going, considering the abysmal amount of years that they've had, and the fact that they have not been able to convert their success into just typical, I guess, into say playoff appearances or you know decent division matchups. It's like it's always just on the outside looking in, and now that they're finally somewhere, it's it's high time. It's high time that they got there. Of course, Charlie Moreau, of course, at the game last night. Um, Charlie also, sorry, let me rephrase that.
For
Miss
those,
Moreau, of course, one of the famed Disney Mighty Ducks, was at the game last night. It was nice to see. It's nice to see some semblance of like millennial. I guess millennial reminiscing. I'm pretty sure we all grew up with the Disney Mighty Ducks back in the day. So
can I say this much about those movies, Dave? Those movies, the plots are absurd. First of all, looking at those films back with adult eyes, even with teenage eyes, realize did nobody at Disney ever watch a hockey game in their lives? Like the plot's absurd. The
yeah,
plot,
fair.
the entire trilogy makes not a lick of sense. When you think about it, really, it makes no sense at all. The worst, first of all, Gordon Bombay, dude is drinking and driving, and he's sentenced to coach a Pee Wee hockey team that sucks. Okay. Then his team gets out of the gutter. They start winning games. Fast forward, they're playing his Team USA. What? Well, these guys suck.
I
Why are they not representing Team USA at a international tournament? It
I
makes no
don't know.
sense.
That makes no sense to me.
And
I mean, if you think about it, like that's kind of one of those things where it's just like you don't clock it until it's too late, and it's just like what the hell? Like you look
yeah,
at it as an adult now, or even like someone older, and you're just like, what kind of chuppiness is this? Like,
yeah,
didn't
and
y'all suck like 2 years ago?
and they go in and they play. First of all, they play Iceland again. Those of you
Hmm.
who know, Iceland's not a hockey nation; it's a soccer nation and
Exactly.
basketball. And they're playing Iceland. Canada's nowhere to be found. They're playing.
Yeah, Trinidad and Tobago in there. Trinidad and Tobago. What's going on here?
It was now. Here's the thing. Now there are NHLs who are of Trinidad descent, but there is no Trinidad and Tobago national team. Like, come on,
No,
Disney. Come on,
no.
Disney.
I
Like,
felt like that was just a really easy way for them to just be like, oh, hey, so surprise, we have an NHL team coming up, and it's the damn Ducks. Like,
like I don't like the plot is just and it gets more and more and again this is where I find this is funny because as the game is now in a commercial break. The thing about the My Ducks trilogy, Dave.
mhm.
Again, not a single hockey rule is followed in this movie. Like, not I understand it's a kids' comedy. Yes, I know it's not supposed to be overly realistic, but
Yeah,
so many like basic hockey rules they just ran over the steamroller in this film.
no, I agree. Like if you go into like D2, as well, just before I break this down real quick, of course, Wood has gone into the box, and Toronto gets their second power play of the night. Of course, Dakota Joshua trying to score, but of course, a little bit of holding as Toronto goes on their second power play of the night. Oh, and Joshua's bleeding too from the bridge.
Yeah, it was more of a high stick to Joshua. Yeah, it was high stick to his nose.
Miles Woods in the box for high sticking at 7:32. Um, Leafs are on the power play again. 5 shots on the last power play. Let's see if they can try and convert on this one. And like, if Joshua was bleeding, don't you think that should have been a double minor at that point?
Yeah, it should be, and that's the thing we saw in the NHL, and that's the thing I was ranting about on Twitter a few weeks ago. Was the same thing happened
Hmm.
a couple weeks ago to Jack Roslovic, where he was cut by a high stick, and the officials apparently the officials told Chris Knobloch that the league said the cut isn't bad enough for 4 minutes. I'm sorry, that's not the
Excuse me?
rule. Yes, Chris
I
Knobloch,
mean, are we making rules on the fly now? Like,
right? Like the rule is not if the cut is bad enough, it's a 4 minute power play. No, the rule is supposed to be it's a 4 minute penalty for a high stick call that draws blood. Period.
exactly. Again, the player part, Department of Player Stupidity strikes again.
Like I blows me away that we're now saying we're now measuring cut and blood content for a 4 minute minor or 4 minute
Right?
penalty. Again, this is why people feel the NHL doesn't care about player safety. You're now measuring how bad a player has to be injured for a penalty.
Pretty much. Toronto's second unit: Michelli, Domi, Ekman Larson, um, Riley, and of course, I forgot that last name that was there, but um, oh, Robertson is on the ice as well. Leafs only had 1 shot on this power play,
Yikes!
and like they've gotten some good chances. It's just that Columbus is like blocking very well, and it's just Toronto's not finding lanes. Up and this power play is done. Toronto has only amassed 1 shot on goal. 6 shots total over 4 minutes of power play work, and Toronto special teams has not converted.
Woof.
That's
That is
that's
not good.
that's bad. And like you saw some of these chances. Of course, like Toronto's really not just taking this lightly. I mean, yeah, sure, they're jamming, and they're like trying to force themselves into the blue paint just to make sure that they can try and get themselves an offensive chance. And it's just ugly now. Like, what's going on here,
Yeah, that's a bit concerning in my mind. Yeah, that's really weird to see.
right? Like, and of course you got Jack Greaves in net between the pipes for Columbus tonight. Like Toronto is out shooting Columbus right now by say 5 shots, and yet still Toronto can't convert. Like if I'm at Scotiabank Arena right now and like I'm seeing this, like I'd start booing after the end of the first period.
One good thing I'm seeing is that on the power play, you're seeing guys rotating, guys aren't being stationary. But
Hmm.
end result, you need to find something to get to Graves, and they're not getting that right now, or didn't get done on the power play.
No. So I was going to break this down really quickly before we were talking about the Leafs second power play.
Yes.
Um, in D2, when whatchamacallit, Russ switches with Goldberg,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like I feel like a position change is not only illegal in the NHL, but also the shot that Russ took as well, just to hit his knuckle puck. His goalie pads on. Two twos, that's the most messed up thing I've ever seen.
It was just, but also too. Here's the thing that goes to show that they think we're stupid. Here's the thing: when that switch happens, there is about on the game clock about 5 seconds left in the game clock.
Yeah,
You count that in real time. That's at least 30.
at least.
Like, come
This is
on.
wild.
You
Yo,
mean to tell me you could get out of your net, skate down, take off parts of your gear, and shoot and score in 5 seconds? Don't piss me off, eh?
no, 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 no. Like that's wild. Like, I mean, again, say your goaltender was your extra attacker in that situation. Like, yo, I like dead ass. Like, you don't give a player like literally 30 seconds to put on goalie pads and a goalie mask and all the goalie gear and switch out like that. Like, no, that's not canon. That's not canon at that point, man.
and And you know what's even funnier too? Not a single point did a single Iceland player decide, oh, we should actually go get the puck back. You didn't tell me. They're just standing there watching what's going on. I'll try to get the puck. Again, I know it's a kids movie, but there are so many times in this series that Disney thinks we're idiots.
All types of foolishness, man. All types of foolishness. Like that ass, I love those movies, but those movies were wild. I'm
I
sorry.
I mean, it's the same way with Cool Runnings. Rest in peace to John Candy, but there was no John Candy person in the actual Cool Runnings story in Calgary in '88.
Yeah, and that ending scene, like, don't get it twisted. It was a solid Hollywood ending, but the real, I guess the real bobsled crash was like a lot worse than that, to be honest with you, because it
Yeah,
was like Team Jamaica, like literally just were just still in that bobsled, but at least they got out and
yeah,
everything. But like they didn't make it as dramatic or just tear jerking as a.
exactly. Like I mean, and again, I get Hollywood. I get Hollywood magic. I get it. I'm not trying to be some boomer, but
Mhm.
to me, I just hate when there's a sports movie and they take things so dramatically. It's like people can honestly say, "This didn't happen. This is just stupid." I
Mhm.
was there and I know this didn't happen.
I mean, that's openly insane at this point, and you know what, like.
I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. You watch for entertainment the same way I watched Winning Time, because there are so many things in Winning Time that I'll admit they were true to certain things in Winning Time, and there are some things Winning Time I know for a fact were just BS. Was BS, was garbage. It didn't happen.
Mhm. Like watching that, watching that whole series though, it was a lot of fun to watch, but unfortunately, just watching Magic Johnson's actor play Magic like in the '80s and shit like that. It's like it made Magic look like a dog in that
Uh,
situation.
I mean, he was. I mean, that was the one thing that they didn't lie about. The man was a dog.
The man was really out here like that, eh?
Like that's the thing is like, and by his own admissions from interviews in the past, like the things that they portrayed, he did.
I was gonna say, is that why Jerry West didn't want the show to come out?
That and for many reasons, yes, because yeah, he thought it was he thought all of it was fictional. He thought all of it was insulting to him and the team. But a lot of those,
Again, a lot of that was true.
yeah, I mean, yes, they took liberties in different aspects, but yeah, a lot of things they portrayed did happen.
Mm.
But and scramble in front just now as the Blue Jackets clear the zone. You're seeing now Toronto. From what I'm seeing, I was shooting Columbus right now 10-3. At least it's been over Columbus early on, but still a tie game here, Dave.
For real. I'm actually about a few seconds ahead of you, I think, because right now I'm currently at 2:35 left in the first. Of course, Columbus still in the offensive zone. They currently have offensive possession right now, as they throw a shot on goal and Joseph Wall just kind of smothers it. As there's some beef, and you see Jake Quellen on the ice, really about ready to throw hands. Where's Jake Quellen at?
yo,
But
speaking, yo,
like,
speaking, yo, speaking
go
of
ahead, go ahead.
speaking of beef teams, I saw our old boy six. I saw a six at the game. I saw Hughes at the game a couple nights ago. Mister Jordan Hales himself.
Hmm. I mean, my man's out here having some fun, man. I mean, of course, him just enjoying things with the Leaf Dem, and it was what it was. And
Again,
didn't they win that game when he was there?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Was it the St. Louis game?
Was it? Well, I gotta go back and double check, but again, that is one thing we love about this show is that again, when their intermission turned someone like Jordan, who was really a hockey fan, into
Into a
someone
hockey fan,
who can talk like again we know what his priorities are. It's more Raptors again, but still,
of course.
Jordan went from someone who didn't really care about the Leafs at all to someone who now has actual invested interest in the sport.
I mean, he's not without his jerseys because it's like, I mean, he's let me know that like he still has a couple Leaf Den players in the closet, as we all do.
Mhm.
And I'm probably sure, even though you're out in Edmonton right now, like I'm sure you got a little one, two leaf something in your like in your closet or in your drawer.
I don't know about jersey and part memorabilia, probably some NHL stuff. Because I mean, hey,
Yeah,
because again, hey, I know more than a few Leafs alumni in my phone as
yeah,
phone contacts.
true,
Shout out to Mr. Grand Fear.
of course. Leafs are in the offensive zone. There's just over a minute 15 left in the first right now. Toronto leading in shots on goal, 11-4. As you can see, the Leafs OVO sweater in the stands right now. Yeah, I gotta say this real quick.
Yo,
All the OVO merch that's being pushed by, or all the NHL merch that's being pushed by October's very own right now.
mhm.
I wish it wasn't so expensive.
I admit the merch is hard, but I was not expecting that to be cheap at all or be anything below what $6 because it's all pricey as hell.
No, I know. Like the hoodies are like $2 alone after taxes, and then with
Jeez,
shipping, it's like 250, especially in my end,
my
right?
goodness.
And then it's like the jackets are like $7 alone. Like imagine if OVO and Roots bust out a jacket, like yo, that thing's at least $2,000.
You
That thing's a
know,
red payment in Toronto.
you know where they're catering that stuff to. There's certain demos. They're catering that to upper echelon.
Of course, but like at the same point in time, like yo, there are regular poor ass fans that do want to enjoy this shit too, you know?
No, I totally agree with that. But that's the problem is that again, we know who they want to cater to, who they want their audience to be, and it's tough because again, the average person would love those kind. The average person would love that merch, but it's out of
Mm.
their tax bracket in a major way.
Well, I mean that's what Afterpay is for. So
All right, yo, this man trying to put people into debt. Keep paying for your stuff. Keep owing these companies for your merchandise. This
hey,
guy.
it also helps build your credit too. So I mean, just saying. I
Still, I
mean,
wouldn't. I would not encourage that too much, Dave.
okay, do it on like again. I'm not saying do it on the reg. Okay, all I am saying is do it bit by bit by bit, right? Like I mean, if you want something and like you can pay it quarterly, then like obviously go for it, right? It wouldn't hurt.
Yo,
At the same point in time, just make sure you have the funds for it. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying I'm the one who does it, but like yo, like if somebody actively wants something, right? And like you
yo,
can pay in installments, I'd say take the opportunity while you can.
what kind of advice is this? Yo, it's
All I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I ain't trying to say nothing else.
yo, this man, yo,
Yo, you can't give people shit for that, man. I mean, like, yo, people have to build their credit at some point, right? So
yo,
not everybody has like 500 credit scores.
no,
Oh,
yo,
or sorry, 700 credit scores. Excuse me.
500 anyway. Anyway, I know. Yeah, this financial talk with their admissions getting going wild right now.
And it looks like the first period's over right now. Shots on goal favor Toronto as they're up 12-4, but we are still at goose eggs by the end of the first, and it looks like there might be a little something for the Leafs going into the second period, although I could be wrong. Of course, Columbus right now, it was in their own zone for at least a good 5 minutes. But you know, Toronto, of course, with some great scoring chances. It's just that Columbus has kind of been breaking all of them up for a little bit. Leafs 0 for 2 on the power play with 6 shots. Columbus over 1 on the power play with 3 shots. Um, your thoughts so far, Avery?
Yeah, a good thing you're seeing possession numbers are in favor of Toronto, but the big thing is this team needed to find an early goal, and you have to figure it out in the second period again. I think
Mm-hmm.
again, press, keep doing what you're doing, but you got to find a way to get to Graves in the second period.
Yeah, honestly, like you can't go into the like say what your next series and potentially just flounder like you are right now, you know? And again, like you can only do so much before your fans start turning on you. And I would much rather watch my team actually get somewhere rather than just be, for lack of a better terminology, stupid when it comes to scoring goals. So this is something that Toronto needs to figure out, especially in the locker room. I mean, if Berube is out there dropping F bombs left, right, and center, and like I mean, it's kind of deserved at this point. But Toronto's got to figure it out.
You know what? You mentioned the goal scoring. It's fun. It's like it is a weird number for a team second to last in their division. They have scored the second most goals in the division with 70, trailing only behind Boston. So a last place
And yeah, so they're like dead last.
or second to last. Only Buffalo is behind them, but
Oh
still
my goodness.
second most goals in scored in your division, and you're in second last place in the Atlantic. Make it make sense.
Make it make definitive sense because that's just insane. Right.
I mean, 74 goals allowed, a goal differential of -4 doesn't help. I mean, again, you got to help yourself in that instance. You can't allow 74 goals so far in this season.
All you can say is chickadee check yourself before you wreck yourself one time. Like,
Now, I know for a fact there ain't no way Ruby's saying that in intermission.
no, obviously not. But like, again, I'm the one who's saying it, not him.
No, I know. I'm just saying that. I know he's not stealing in no day Barnett lines.
That's all I gotta say.
That's all you gotta say. All right, yo. I'm just saying. I don't think Mr. Berube is that down to culture in that sense.
No, no, he's not. I mean, I'm probably sure he's had a beef patty or two at one point, but like,
I don't know. Well, we're still trying to make that stuff happen because again, we're still trying to like as we said back in the day with the third intermission. We're still trying to get guys like Ron McLean or whatever to try a beef patty or have Aki and Saltfish or have some bust up shots.
right? That's insane.
Because hey man, one day,
One day,
hey, we'll figure out how to
one
get
day,
these
one
guys.
day, we will figure this out.
Hey, you know what? You know what would be funny? So I don't. It's never. So Anthony does do some with Caravana. Anthony does. He had his own truck for a while at Caravana. But
Hmm.
how funny would it be to get like the sports set panel out there at Caravana, get Ron McLean and like Luke Gazzy jumping and waving, get Elliot
I
Friedman
feel
out
like he'd
there,
be overwhelmed at that point.
get Elliot Friedman bubbling somebody. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
No, 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 no. Yo, Elliot will kill you for that. Elliot will kill you for that. I know he knows you very well. Like if he's watching this right now,
I mean,
that man
hey,
will box
Elliot
you.
from Toronto. He knows the culture. He you
Obviously, he knows the
cannot
culture,
tell
but that
me.
man will still box you
You
one
cannot
time.
tell me he's not seen that before and knows what that is.
I mean, not wrong, but still. I mean, man's probably had a double or two from Wicked Carib in the building, but like, yo, dead ass, like, I mean, that man will box you one time if you try and tell him like, yo, catch a bubble from somebody else other than his wife, because like, yo, that man will fight. You. That man
people,
will fight you.
people know it's nothing serious with that. Come on now, we all know that.
Yo, listen, this man's actually out here promoting infidelity in their
Hey,
relationship.
hey, I have bubbled kings at Caravan. I know you know what's happened beyond just
Listen,
a
have you
good
done it
time.
as a single man
As
or done it as a
single,
loud
but
couple?
either way, I'm sure you've done it. Have you done before and nothing's happened?
I have done it when I was single. I haven't done it when I was locked up. Still,
Where else are you gonna get this kind of content on a hockey live stream? Where else?
exactly. But yo, two is like yo, we don't condone any type of infidelity out here in these streets.
No, we do not.
Nah, man, that yo, listen, that's an Oshawa thing. But like,
What else should I do, yo? I don't. You know what, yo? I'm not gonna entertain that because I don't know what stories you are threatening to bring up. I don't want a lawsuit, eh?
I could say Brampton, but yo, Brampton's kind of been on a high right now, especially with the four y'all guys right now.
Yes, but so I was almost gonna wild out with Brampton, but I'm gonna choose peace right now. I'm
Yes.
gonna choose
I
peace.
mean, Brampton doesn't deserve the strays that they normally get, especially with the fact that the Office Movers came out. The Office Movers have been, yo. Let me just say, there's some real guys moving out there,
No, that's some real guys,
right?
From Guyana.
Exactly. Like, yo, they're all here speaking Guyanese, you know,
He a real man, like the late Guy Lafleur.
right? Yo, they're out here listening to Nelly Furtado, man. They're like a bird, and they just want a guy away. Still, They're eating too many sweets out in these streets, man. Maybe they're trying to get diabetes, but like,
Oh my goodness. You see that? Yo, that is. Man, diabetes.
they're all here trying to grab burgers, man, for Five Guys still. Like,
That
yo,
is.
half their technologies from Guy One still. All right, I'll
Wow.
stop. I'll stop. I'll stop.
Yeah. Yo, this man said diabetes. Yeah, it's wild. See, people have been, who do you, I don't know if it's ever gonna happen, but who would be the one hockey player to appear on Office Movers?
Who would be that one hockey player on the Office Movers? Like, I mean, again, it could be PK Subban on that one.
I think it probably would be PK.
K. Andre Miller, maybe.
I don't. You got no. He's a you need a guy from you need Ontario guy. You need a Scarborough guy to do that. Like a
Quentin Byfield,
what's that?
Quentin Byfield, or Akil Thomas.
Yeah, those are probably guys who would be realistic, but would Trey and Jay know about them? I think it's gonna be to me. I think realistically, more likely a PK, maybe a Wayne Train possibly.
Nah,
But
man, Wayne's too much of a serious guy for that, man. Like, yo, he's one of those.
What?
No, he's a serious guy. Like, yo, like if Wayne weren't playing hockey, Wayne would be a guy, right? He'd be a guy, right?
Oh my goodness.
He'd be like, yo, you have players, but you have guys, like real guys out there. Like, yo, this guy moves for real, you know, seeing like guys are reading, like he's a guy there, like he's a right hand guy, you know? Like
You know how much confusion there would be if I walked into the press box and said and called someone a right hand guy instead of a right hand shot?
that'd be crazy. That'd be crazy.
Yo, don't encourage me, eh? Don't encourage me, because I might just end up doing something like that.
You know who's not a real guy right now? Mitch Marner.
Oh
He's
wow,
just a guy.
wow! It only took it there, and there's the Marner slander from out of Dave, eh? There's the Mitch Marner slander. We all been waiting for it.
Listen, I loved the dude when he was a Leaf, and when he decided to move the way he was moving, like I guess after that point, it was just like, okay, you know what? Like, fine, like yo, run your beak, like yo, we'll nice it when the second you come over here.
Yo, it's not yo.
Let's pivot for a sec though. P Dub starts on Friday officially.
Yes.
How are we feeling about this?
I'm excited first of all to see what's going to happen when it comes to the expansion teams with Seattle and Vancouver, because again we know how we got into on the show before how the expansion draft has worked, and it's clear that the league has said we want these teams to be competitive right out of the gate. So again, you got Hillary Knight playing Seattle. You've got Daniel Serdachny on Seattle as well too, and
You got Sarah Nurse playing in Vancouver.
Vancouver, yes. So that's gonna be a big thing for the established teams is handling the loss of your top talent. And the big thing everybody's coming from Minnesota. That's everybody wants to knock them off their perch. These two-time champions. There's a big target on the back of the Minnesota Frost. Rightly deserved. People are gonna come for them. But again, I want to see how the rest of the league responds to the expansion draft. In my mind, so.
I think the other big thing too is the Ottawa situation as well. And I believe we talked about that there on a few episodes of the podcast, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, with the Lansdowne 2.0 project being approved, and the PW has come out and said that that's not going to work for us with Ottawa. They have essentially, they have suggested that maybe the future for the charge isn't in Ottawa. And that's a thing that you do not want to be facing as a league less than 3 years into your existence, the very real threat of a franchise relocation.
Precisely. And it's like you don't want to run into a situation where it's like, oh, we may actually lose a potential franchise in Ottawa, especially when Ottawa is potentially practically a hockey city. And it's just like, do we really want to deal with this right now?
Mm-hmm. And again, we said before the show, I understand it because you don't want to move into a barn with less seating, and that's the thing where they like playing in the Lansdowne area, what we know of Lansdowne currently. They like being in the area. They built a fan base. They can seat 8,000 fans, and I understand that. But if heaven forbid, I mean, for personally, we want to keep Ottawa in this league. But if Ottawa were to relocate, you got a bunch of markets ready for that team to go elsewhere. Again, we already
Easily.
know.
I feel like Detroit would probably take over that within a heartbeat. At that rate.
Yeah, there are so many markets that again, and next year alone, we're gonna see next year who comes into the league. We said before many times, and there have been so many applicants who want to join, or so many cities that want to join the league. And I know we
Hmm.
mentioned before, it sounds like next year, 26, 27, it's going to be most likely, it's going to be 2 to 4 teams, and the two that we pretty much, you know what, we can't guarantee them, but the leaders, the clubhouse leaders to be a new club for next year are
Hmm.
going to be Edmonton and Denver, with the possibility for a Quebec City and either a Hamilton or a Pittsburgh or Chicago.
I feel like you might want to establish yourself in an NHL city first, rather than just say outside of an NHL city, like for example Hamilton, right?
Hamilton
Just
could be there, yeah.
yeah, because it's like again, I would much rather have a team in the same city as an NHL franchise, because if you have hockey established there, it's fine. Like Hamilton has had minor hockey and major junior hockey established in that area for a very very long time. But but the biggest problem is retaining teams, right? Of course, we all saw that say the Bridgeport Sound Tigers would have potentially have been moved to Hamilton and revived the Bulldogs, but unfortunately the AHL said no. Of course, Hamilton did have the Bulldogs, but they had to move them to Brantford in order to recreate TD Coliseum, aka formerly known as Cops Coliseum. Now that everything's up and running again, it's only a matter of time before Hamilton gets a hockey team. But I would not start with, and not to be offensive or anything, it's just I wouldn't start with the P Dub first. I would probably either have, like, say, your junior hockey component back or your AHL component back, just to prove that you can have the capabilities of having an actual functioning, like, say, round the clock hockey team in that situation, and maybe bring the Honey Badgers in the CEBL back from Brampton into Hamilton.
Hey, you mentioned the Honey Badgers, and that was one thing. That's one thing where I've been very concerned about because their attendance numbers were not great over the past year. That's a team that struggled to retain fans in Brampton, and I just wonder what the CBL is going to do about that because that's a team where they've had good teams before in the past in this league, but the fans just aren't going to watch the ball games in Brampton.
Well, of course, because it's like the traffic over there is a nightmare. I went to a game a few years ago, and like not to throw shade on the concessions or like say like just the overall availability and accessibility of the CAA Center in Brampton, but like it's very hard to get to, right? That main road alone, there's so much traffic. Like going down Kennedy, there's a lot of traffic. For one, two, like if you try the food there, like the food is either just staying there, it has been staying in that area for a long period of time. Like they don't replenish certain things, and like there's not much selection. And three, it's just like the seating is very
Toughest place
uncomfortable.
to
You know,
Yeah.
I as someone who enjoys watching Brenton and Scarborough tear each other apart in summer league basketball, like it's not great when say the concession or like say the entire arena in general is like difficult to access. And
Mhm.
you know, I feel like if you play in Mississauga, like it would be nice, but unfortunately the problem is it's like playing you have the 905 playing at Paramount Fine Food Center in Mississauga, and they ended up kicking out the Steelheads, right? That's an even bigger issue at play. And it's just like it's very hard to house certain teams in Southern Ontario. Like you can't like I mean, if you move the Steelheads to Markham, right, then like you could definitely have your proper OHL franchise there. You if you move, say, if you move the Honey Badgers from Brampton to if you move them back to Hamilton, and then you bring back either like say an ECHL franchise up here, revive the Brampton Beast, and have them play at the CAA Center, then that's fine. But like you need to have your ECHL franchise for Toronto up here, because Toronto currently doesn't have one. They're sharing one with another team.
Mm, that's interesting to know. And you mentioned how one thing about hockey in the GTA or the Ontario area is that again we already know Ontario is saturated for hockey, saturated for hockey in
It is because
many
it's like you
ways.
have the Leafs, you have the Marlies, you have the Scepters, you have the OHL franchises in Kitchener, Guelph, Oshawa, Brampton. I think those are the only, well, I'm sorry, Niagara as well. Niagara is obviously not part of the GTA, but it's accessible to the GTA. Owen Sound, which is not that far from Kitchener. Um, London, which is just a quick Via Rail ride, and then Windsor's just like right, just a stone's throw away, right? Then you have Belleville. You also have like some of these teams are still accessible either by train or by GO train, as the second period is just getting underway in Toronto. But like a lot of these teams, a lot of these Southern Ontario teams are still accessible by like public transit. Obviously, it's going to take a little bit to get to these areas, but like it's still accessible by public transit. And it's like, okay, yeah, there's a heavy amount of saturation of hockey in in the Golden Horseshoe.
Mm-hmm. No, there definitely is. And of course, if you're tapping in, please leave us a comment, question, thoughts on season game of the week. Any complaints, give those to Dave Barnett.
I'll be happy to tell you to suck your granny one time and then tell you to go suck your grandfather right after. But like,
Hey, you friggin' guy, yo, this is what those are the thoughts of Dave Barnett and Dave Barnett alone. Yo, yo, this man, this man, this man, eh?
no apologies, no apologies.
That's hey. Anyway, yo. All I'm gonna say about that insult is, I, I'm, I'm gonna probably, I'm gonna probably assume that some West Indian player has it as an insult in the NHL to somebody else. I don't know who, but I'm sure some player, past or present with West Indian roots, has said that to insult somebody else on the ice.
Right? I mean, I would love to hear that on air. Just be like, just hear one black player just out on the ice, or even hear Dakota Joshua say it on the ice right now. That would be absolutely crazy.
I mean, yeah, and then there's the sneaky West Indians, those who people forget are West Indian. Like I said before, Jason Dickinson, he's got St. Kitts roots in him.
Yep, that would be wild. That would be absolutely wild right now.
Because again, that was funny. I mentioned when I sat down when I did our interview with Isaac Phillips. Isaac didn't know that Jason Dickinson had West Indian heritage in him. And I thought that was so funny that he didn't know his teammate had West Indian heritage when he played for Chicago. I thought that was a very funny thing talking to Isaac.
It's always the ones you don't. It's always the ones you know that you don't know. Know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, yo, you think you know me? Yo, you have no idea, fam.
because it's funny because I know we know, yes, we know there are white West Indians, but some people, it still throws people off when you see a random white dude. And yeah, oh yeah, my mom's from St. Kitts. My mom or my dad's Trini. It's like, wait, you
It's a
know.
foreign concept to some people, though. That's the thing, right?
It
Folks,
is.
we just want to mention, like, of course, watching the season game of the week right now. This is going to be the last game at home for about 2 weeks for the Leaf Den. as they're currently jumping on a 6 game road trip starting on Saturday against Montreal. So, of course, when we do our next season game of the week, which will more than likely be next week,
Mhm.
the Leaf Dem will be on the road.
Yes.
And who knows, maybe we'll actually be doing a different team next week. We'll see.
Exactly. No, we're open to doing different games, different teams. I'm sure we'll do some stuff as well during the Olympic Games, if
Of course.
games in Italy. So I'm sure we'll definitely be doing some of those group games or whatever games during the
I mean,
Olympics.
it might be a little early for us to do it, but like we'll still be doing it anyway.
Yeah. I mean, hey, that's the one thing about the Olympic. That is the one thing about the Olympics that I love the fact that, first of all, Dave, I love the fact that we in Canada with CBC have
Mm-hmm.
Olympic Games on for free. I love the fact, first of all, that we have free stream because in America, you gotta pay to watch the games on those different NBC platforms.
That's openly insane. I'm sorry. Like, subscriber content is one thing, but like, or sorry, subscription networks and subscription content is one thing, but like to try and limit, I guess, the amount of what people are seeing
Uh-huh.
and making them pay for it in the sense that it's like, oh, okay, well, like say your kids on the US track team or the US speed skating team, and you have to pay like $65 a month on NBC just to watch them on tape delay. I'd be violently pissed at that point.
I mean, that's been the thing for Louis generations. How NBC has made you pay to watch Olympic games. Meanwhile, like I know a lot of American friends who have VPNs to watch it on CBC instead for free.
Folks, you have to keep a VPN, by the way. Just saying, if you want some actual decent content, like or like decent commentary, watch the Canadian game
Yeah,
or
no,
watch the Canadian game.
yeah, because a lot of people have for years people praise the broadcast of CBC Olympic content. People love
Of
it.
course, of course. Shots are 15-5 right now in favor of the Leafs. Says there's about 17:25 left in the second period. As Columbus ices the puck again, and it'll be back in their own zone. Of course, Columbus's current line can't change.
As right now
Uh,
you've seen the pressure from the Leafs right now. You mentioned right there, Dave, shots 15-5. It's been a hot minute since Columbus had any shots on goal.
yeah, it looks like Toronto's defense is starting to just, or no, Toronto's defensive play is starting to finally wake up. As Toronto's won 16 of the now 17 of 24 faceoffs. Of course, Toronto throwing the offensive pressure on to Columbus, but like they still haven't converted. They still genuinely haven't converted right now, and it's just like, what are we doing here?
Mm-hmm. And speaking of Columbus, I want to get your thoughts, Dave. What are your thoughts on that? That's going around. What are your thoughts on Bill Simmons saying the Blue Jackets are the most irrelevant team in all of pro sports?
Bill Simmons doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about.
No, wow, yo, this man took that personally. This man took the Bill Simmons comments to heart.
Listen, Bill Simmons doesn't know what he's talking about. It's just like Steve Simmons from the Toronto Sun. Both of them are waste shoes.
Yo, this man. I mean, so what the way Bill said that it comes from clearly Bill doesn't watch much hockey beyond the Bruins. But here's the thing: was he entire so outside of the hockey sphere?
Mm-hmm.
Was he correct? Like, if you're someone who only watches, say,
Oh,
NBA,
hold up. Looks like we got a goal here. Just to
there
interrupt
you
you.
go.
Yeah. Blue Jackets have just scored on their sixth shot on net. It is 1-0 Columbus. And it looks like it is at is it Kirill? No.
I'm
It looks
seeing,
like it's Fantuli.
I'm seeing it here now. Yeah, just Columbus able to keep the puck in the Maple Leaf zone.
Yeah, Adam Fantuli.
Yeah, Toronto can't clear, and the Blue Jackets capitalize, open scoring up.
You get an assist from Zach Werenski as well. That was just a bad goal that Toronto had just let go. And
And Yeah, that was
The,
about.
the graphic just came up right now. Columbus is 7-1-1 when scoring first. When scoring first.
Yeah,
So, folks, it took 23 minutes and change, but we have ourselves a goal. Adam Fantilli from Zach Wierenski. Let's see who got the second. If there's a secondary assist involved, but Columbus is currently up 1-0 right now in Toronto.
and that goal was just sparked by about the Blue Jackets keeping the puck in the Toronto zone for what was at least what a good 40, 45 seconds, and Toronto just couldn't clear the zone.
Nope. Like if I'm Craig Berube right now, I tell my guys to wake up. And speaking of waking up right now, let's go back to Bill Simmons and his stupidity right now. I know
Yeah,
you were asking that, say, like considering the fact that he only watches hockey outside of the Bruins, or he doesn't watch hockey outside of the Bruins, excuse me. Does is Bill Simmons' comments correct? And I mean, he's out of pocket, but he's not wrong on that and on that front. But
no,
at the oh, let me rephrase that. Dmitry Voronkov got that goal. Got his ninth of the year. 3:17 in. Adam Fantilli and Zach Wierenski both got the assist.
okay.
So let's go tipping.
Hmm. Yeah, because my thing with the Blue Jackets thing is that to someone who only watches the NFL, the NBA, MLB, when it comes to your hockey consumption, you probably hear
Mhm.
about you might hear about McDavid, you might hear about Celebrini, Bedard, but the Columbus Blue Jackets aren't really ever in that debate or that discussion top of mind. They're not really on Sports Center. They're not really
Mhm.
on Fox or TNT. So yes, to the extent if you're not a hockey fan, yes, he is correct in the sense that yeah, they are relevant because not a team that is top of mind really for any major hockey story.
No, that's fair, and like I have to agree with that only because like in the state of Ohio, that's like if you're a Miami, Ohio fan or Ohio State fan when it comes to college hockey, outside of those markers, and then of course with the Cleveland Monsters or sorry, the Lake Erie Monsters, right? Outside of those spectrums, like you're not seeing much hockey in the state of Ohio.
Mhm. And even say other people, I mean, as a Ohio sports fan, of course, in Ohio, there's Blue Jacket fans. Of course, there's plenty of Blue Jacket fans. But
Mm-hmm.
when you're in that market with the Ohio State, the Cavaliers, the Guardians, the Browns, you get overlooked quickly when you don't win and you're not very successful.
Exactly.
Especially, especially compared to Ohio State and the Cavaliers.
Not to mention the fact that you have to deal with the Cincinnati Bengals and the Cincinnati Reds as
Yep,
well.
exactly.
And that's just one other big problem that say Columbus has to deal with as well. There's like three solid cities in the state of Ohio, and Columbus is the only city outside of like the main two in Cleveland and Cincinnati that barely gets any like say any love in the state of Ohio,
And
especially when it comes to sport.
I'd argue, and of course people can debate me on this, but I would say to an extent, probably more than an extent, the Columbus Crew get more
Mm-hmm.
love because the Columbus Crew, they're an OG MLS franchise. They've
Yep.
won, they've won titles. They've been here way before the Blue Jackets were even a thought. So I'd say the Crew at times takes higher priority than the Blue Jackets some days in Columbus.
Oh, what a dirty save by Greaves.
Wow.
That was a wide open cage, and it's just Greaves just came out of his net and just basically robbed him blind. Robbed him worse than a black man on a dark alley, guy.
Hey, what? Yo, what? Y'all, this is again why when we do the weekly recording show, this is why you know I go through and make sure Dave doesn't put us in civil court or Dave doesn't get us canceled. Because again, some of the things that maybe one day in I don't know 10 years we'll have we'll have a special third dimension uncut where it's just us keeping the foul of Dave wilding out too much. Letting people hear.
Jeez,
I don't know, yeah,
man, the guy. Like,
cause yo,
yo. all I have to say is like, yo, get us on. Like, if Extra Gravy's out here watching us right now, like, yo, get us on the pod, man. I need to be unhinged and just live, loud, and in color, guy.
Yeah, we said before, you get on that show and Marlon's gonna encourage you to be absurd.
But in all seriousness, though, that was a massively great save by Greaves,
Mm-hmm.
especially when like Yarn Croc, of course, causing a little bit of traffic in front, and just that shot's just ripped from the blue line, and Greaves just like basically just robbing you blind, as if like say or if RBC was trying to take your trying to take your fees out of your account still.
Yo, what means you got Royal Bank?
Listen, we always call RBC the Royal Bank of Crooks. That's how it goes.
Yo, this not yo. The things that I'm hearing out
Look,
here.
look at the first three letters. What else does it say? Royal Bank of Canada, right?
Yes.
To say Royal Bank of Crooks because they're always stealing your money. Well, why else? Why else are you getting those free iPods or those free iPads for opening up a student account?
This guy, eh? This guy out here got smoke for Royal Bank. That's wild.
Listen, I have smoke for BMO too, but you know what? I'm gonna keep my mouth shut about them right now.
Yeah, yeah, no,
M,
you.
ED, and Scotiabank.
See,
CIBC, like, you're catching. No, no, wait, sorry. CIBC is the bank. It used to be the bank of the Jays. I'll give them that much.
you give them that much. We saw that collision as John Croc went into Graves. That could have been a disaster.
Yeah, that's what that save was actually. Avery, you're about like a good 30 seconds behind, aren't you?
Yeah, no, yeah. That's again. That's the one thing about doing game or doing streams when you're away from somebody is that you fully see how far behind another person is, or how ahead another person is on these streams.
Yeah, I guess it's payback for the last time we did this together.
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. Yeah, last time we did this stream, yeah, I was way ahead. I was dang near an hour ahead of you, to exaggerate.
You know, this is no, you know what? I'll leave the Avery slander for the podcast.
Wow, oh, thanks. Aren't you? Are the kindness of your heart? Oh, golly geez, thanks, Mr. Barnett.
Listen, okay? If black people don't roast each other at one point or another, right? Are you truly?
Just yo,
Tell me where I'm lying.
yo, he'll leave the slander. Yo, This man's talking about leave the slander behind like he's serving me porridge all in Oliver Twist. Oh, thank you, sir. May I have another? Yo. 1855 factory owner. Talking about mercy and kindness, yo.
Listen, I'm not the one out here looking like half those insults from like a Neil Strauss convention guy. Like, yo, what's wrong with you?
Half those incels, yo. I almost got way out of pocket, eh? But yo, compare me to an incel's absurd. I'm choosing, listen. I know what it's like to kiss a girl. They don't.
Well done, well done. That's beautiful, man. Like, yo, we're about to get shot, but still, like, yo, this.
I know what it's like to be around women and them enjoy my presence. Those incels don't.
Right? They've never touched a bag of sand before.
They don't touch grass. They don't touch nothing. They don't touch nothing but you know what? Let me.
Themselves. But
I didn't want to say it, but yo. We'll use some of these clips for
oh my
TikTok
god.
and YouTube Shorts, I'm sure as well. Oh my goodness! Now and again, that wasn't off the rails. That was the train went off the rails and into a body of water. The train went into Lake Ontario.
Listen, that train is still gliding right now.
I mean, the most. I mean, the least chaotic day for TTC is a train going off the rails.
Let's not get involved with Metrolinx right now, man. Like, yo, that whole situation in itself is a real piss off,
All right.
especially to anybody in Ontario.
But, yeah. You know what? Let's cut that off, right? You know what? Let's dead that for a second because we know why.
Yeah,
But we know, but
yeah,
yeah. Anyways, back to
yeah.
again,
Back to hockey right now.
back to this. But yeah, again, Toronto.
Easton,
So
what are you doing right now? Easton
wow.
County, of course, getting a little confused on the power play. Of course, as the Leafs win another face-off, but it's just it's not converting right now. Like, what do the Leafs need to do at this point? Like, resurrect like Austin Matthews from injury with some voodoo magic at this point? Like,
Yeah, I don't know
no, I'm
what.
not even joking anymore. Like this is kind of getting a little eye opening here. Like as you can see right now,
Yes.
like it's like Cowan's getting a shot on that, and it's not going through. But it's just like you really have to sit and wonder, like this team with the amount of firepower that it hasn't done anything. And some of these games are getting ugly.
And
Ben
right.
Wallace shot on goal, Nylander with the puck, still trying to score, and like he's not getting anything. Like I mean, if I'm a Leafs fan right now in this building, I'd start booing. I'd
And
literally start booing.
and right now, you look at the fancy stats right now, Dave. According to Natural Stat Trick, Leafs are coursing Columbus 26-17 at 5-1-5, and they have five high danger chances to two at 5-1-5 so far.
Like
And you're gonna love this, Dave. You're gonna love this one. You want to hear this stat?
I'm listening.
Mm-hmm. In all situations right now, when it comes to high danger chances for, Toronto
Mm-hmm.
leads 10-2.
That's insane.
And when it
And
comes
then
to
converted
and
one.
when it comes to scoring chances for it in all strengths, Toronto leads 22-8. So I can see the frustration on that when I said that one.
Like it's openly frustrating right now because it's like what in the month of November, the Leafs have won one, maybe two games.
Mm-hmm.
I could be wrong. Like, let me hold up. Let me make sure that I'm not putting my foot in my mouth in this situation here. You know, based off of the Leafs schedule right now, the Leafs have only won. Oh, sorry, my bad, folks. The Leafs have only won 4 games this month. The rest have either been regulation losses or the overtime loss to the Kings back on the 13th. Like the Leafs are currently 4 and the Leafs are 4-4-1
Again,
in the
that it's average, and right now you can't afford to be average in the Eastern
exactly.
Conference.
Even with the amount of like say logjam between Detroit and Buffalo, of course, in the Atlantic, like I said at the beginning of the show, at the top of the show here, like the Atlantic is separated by 7 points.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Eastern Conference is only separated by 10 points.
Yeah,
Carolina, of course, leading with like 31, or no, leading with 28. And then like Buffalo is the worst team in the league, the worst team in the East right now with 18. And again, like one shift in momentum, and it's like Buffalo could be atop the East, or Carolina could be like fifth in the league, depending on what happens. But like it is just a massive swing of things, and you're just like this logjam. Well, I don't know if it'll start separating itself come January, but like I don't know what to say right now. Like
but wait, hold on. Did you say or Buffalo could be in the top of the East? Now hold on. I'm not gonna go that far. I'm not gonna go
there's
out
only
here and
five
say.
games. Like to be fair, there's only 5 games separating them from. Sorry, there's only 10 points separating them from Carolina.
Oh, I know, but that's a bold take. I'm not gonna put out there. I'm not ready. I need to see more. Could Buffalo get into a playoff spot? Certainly, But on top of the East, I'm gonna need to see a lot more Buffalo to see them propel that far.
Next thing you know, you have a Sabres fan coming at you in the comments right
Well, I know a lot of them, so I'm ready. I know a
now.
lot of there's a lot of Saber fans in my life, so you know what? If they want the smoke, I'm the oven.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
That was top of the dome. That was the top of the dome one, eh? You like that
That was a bar. That was a bar.
one?
8:45 left in the second right now. Of course, Columbus controlling the puck for at least 30 seconds in the offensive zone. Of course, Toronto finally clears it, and yet they ice the puck yet again. It is not looking good for the Leafs. Of course, Voronkov scoring early in the second period, exactly 3:17 in the second period, giving Columbus a 1-0 lead. And of course, assist by Adam Fantilli, Michigan prospect, former Michigan prospect, and Zach Werenski. The Leafs have not scored, but as Avery had mentioned, Toronto has had some high danger scoring chances throughout the course of this game. In fact, they have been just overloading Jet Greaves left, right, and center, but yet have not been able to convert. Of course, the Leafs are 0-2 on the power play right now with 6 shots, while Columbus is 0 for 1 on the power play with 2 shots. Both teams. Oh, Adam Fantilli has just scored and has made it 2-0 Columbus
Mm-mm-mm.
with a
Fantilli,
shot from the slot.
he enjoys playing against Maple Leafs. Adam Fantilli, he's already.
I gotta say this objectively right now, and like this is why I love Adam Fantilli. Just objectively speaking, that release was just insane. Like if you watch the replay here, a little bit of a handle and a dangle, and then just snipes it from the left circle, and it just goes by Joseph Wall, making him look like a triple A goaltender right now. It was that bad. That shot was dirty.
And again, we're seeing, and just overall in the second period, we're seeing again Columbus having sustained zone time in the Toronto zone and making
Mhm.
the Leafs pay once again.
So Fantilli and Voronkov both have a goal and an assist, as Werenski has 2 assists on the night. Adam Fantilli scoring his 7th goal of the year as Columbus officially takes a 2-0 lead on their 13th shot on goal. John Tavares, of course, right in front of that, trying to force a tip in, but it is not happening. It's Greaves just basically cleans up the mess. This is getting ugly. It's an even strength goal too, which makes it even worse. You know, and like Toronto has been playing great offensively. It's just right now they're just either falling asleep at the wheel or just like, you know, I don't know if the sleeping pills are kicking in or what have you, but like the Leafs right now are not the Leafs are not leafing right now.
And right now, I'm just watching the zone entries. Toronto right now cannot stop a zone entry to save their lives. That is embarrassing. The amount of time you're seeing Blue Jacket forwards able to clear get into the zone, enter the blue line.
Like it's not like Toronto's not doing what they're supposed to be doing, but like I don't understand. It's like it's these bad offensive turnovers in center ice and not converting in the offensive zone and just playing deep in your own zone to the point where it's like I don't know if somebody needs to be traded or if say the Leafs need to just go into tank mode at this point. But this is starting to get bad.
And right now, there's just zero consistent cohesion between this roster from many aspects, Dave.
Of course, like I mean, back earlier in the week, Brad Treliving out here stating that he has confidence in Craig Berube, but the Leafs are being vanilla right now, and not even French bean vanilla, just like basic vanilla.
Basic, basic though, that kind of. that
Yo, it's artificial vanilla at this point, man.
he's on basically the kind of vanilla that shops at Aritzia and watches Gossip Girl reruns and goes to
No,
UFC.
this is your
Yeah,
type of vanilla that just stays home, goes to work, watches the same show, wears the same white shirts, the same black pants, doesn't do anything fun on the weekends, just drinks like drinks milk on the regular, has like boiled chicken for dinner, type of.
hey, first of all, those are let me say this much to you. Those are where let me pull up this camera here. Those of you who be drinking milk in regular, like regular cow's milk, stop
Hold
that
on,
right now.
wait. I'm talking milk for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Nah.
Oh, there we go. Finally. I spoke too soon as the Leafs score finally. Mermis getting his first goal, his first ever NHL goal, as the Leafs finally cut into the lead. Took 19 shots and nearly 15 minutes, but the Leafs finally got on the board with a great shot from the blue line.
So a little momentum goes back Toronto's way there late in the second period.
Right? A little bit of a cover up, but like I guess Dakota Mermis gets his first goal.
There you go, and good for him.
Gets his first goal as a Leaf. 2-1 Leafs or 2-1 Blue Jackets, excuse me. I got ahead of myself. John Tavares with the assist. As Toronto finally wakes up and you can hear the crowd at the Big Bank Arena finally waking up. It's nice to finally hear some life in an almost dead cathedral.
Well, they
You
got
know,
something to cheer about finally in this
oh,
game.
we got a 2-on-2 situation. Now it's a 3-on. Oh, William Nylander. Ooh, just above the crossbar into the mesh, and it is out of play. William Nylander with a great chance, but it is still 2-1 right now.
You see how the Leafs starting to try and wake up here in this second period.
If again, hockey should be a 60-minute game, regardless of what team you play. You should be playing a full 60 minutes,
Of course.
not like we're gonna play. The first 30 minutes we're just gonna screw off, and then the next 30 minutes we're actually gonna try, or like I don't care about the first two periods. It's always about the last period, right? You need to fix up and actually play a full 60-minute game.
Mm-hmm. And I'm seeing here from Twitter,
Mm-hmm.
from at Nick Barden, my colleague at the Hockey News. That's Dakota Morris' first NHL goal since February 24, 2024.
Who do you used to play with?
Yeah, one sec, Dave. Let me pull that up here. But either way, he's been through a bit of a scoring drought.
I'll say.
Yeah, Dakota Mermis came to he was around the league for a different team. He played for Utah, Minnesota, New Jersey, Arizona. So yeah, he's been around the league for a bit.
Where did we pick him up from, or was he just like a free agent signing?
Remember, he was with the Marlies earlier. He played last year in Utah.
He didn't come over in the Michelli's in the Michelli deal, did he?
No, I don't believe he did. Yeah,
It was a great goal though, because it was like a little bit of coverage, like a little bit of coverage both by like say your own player and Tavares.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a little bit of a screen, excuse me, by Tavares and say the defenseman from Columbus as well on Greaves, and of course Toronto finally cuts into the lead.
He's from.
I think the Leafs just committed themselves a delay of game penalty here
Uh-oh.
because like someone just basically shot it into Columbus's bench.
Let's see here.
Oh, looks like they're letting it go.
Okay.
Yep, looks like they're letting it go right now. Still 5-on-5.
So the Leafs,
Uh,
the Leafs escape danger with that.
yep. 5:07 left in the second right now. Uh, Columbus up 2-1. Steve Lorentz wins another faceoff for the Leafs as they finally clear the zone, and hopefully they don't ice the puck this time. And they don't. Of course, that was a great hit by the Leafs. Yarncroc playing the body right now in the corner in the offensive zone. It's nice to finally see some fight in this team.
Much needed fight.
Oh, Yarncroc has the puck. Throws it right in front. Of course, it gets deflected a little bit here, but Columbus just takes the puck back. This game's getting a little bit faster now. Oh, great save by Wall.
Yeah, Joseph Wall finding ways to step up here.
The Broadview Wall finally has been laid. Damn, I don't even have a term for this. Wall's finally just back up and running again. Put it that way. I was about to say the Broadview Wall has been reestablished, but it's just like I kind of froze on that one.
Yo, is that a real nickname, the Broadview Wall, and why Broadview for Joseph Wall?
Doesn't Joseph Wall live in Toronto, right?
He does, yes.
And like Broadview Avenue is a solid street in Toronto, is it not?
It's, yes.
I could call it. You can't call him the Bremner Wall because like Bremner Wall, like Bremner Avenue is also Raptors Way, and it's also the main street for the Blue Jays. You can't call him the Bremner Wall at that point.
No, I guess no, you can't.
So you call him the Broadview Wall.
Are you gonna try to patent that one now, the Broadview Wall?
Maybe. I mean, everyone's calling him Wonderwall at that point, but like
I mean, see now that's too easy. That's too easy of a nickname.
that was way too easy. Why do you think I would like what do you think I was saying when we had Wayne Simmons? I call him the General of Scarborough. You can't call him the Scarborough General because it's like, oh, are you just calling him the hospital? It's like, nah, like I mean, sure, it might be a great reference to the Scarborough General Hospital as he puts mans in the hospital, but like nah, you call him the General of Scarborough for a reason.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. I see you soon to the people. But I was gonna say,
I remember when we actually first started this too. It's like we were just quoting like old reggae songs to like fights and everything when Wade Simmons was on the ice. And it was like I was on our Twitter account, folks. By the way, our Twitter account is at Toronto Third for both Twitter and Instagram, so give us a follow. Um, when Wayne had gotten into a fight in his first game, and I just tweeted out "No letting go, no holding back." It was a reference to a Wayne Wonder song, and of course Jordan was like, "Who was that? Was it Darren?" And I'm like, "Nah, it was me." And Jordan's out here like, "Yo, well done. That was actually pretty solid."
that is funny.
Oh, that first game was fun. I swear, because it was like we were just going at it left, right, and center. We were just tweeting left, right, and we were just tweeting memes and just quoting reggae tracks and hip hop tracks. Like we need to do that again at this point.
You know, people who don't know who forgot about the again. This show had even more of those Rossini references because remember when I first joined or got on the show's radar. I remember it might have been Darren who tweeted out.
It was Darren.
Yeah, Darren tweeted out who should be at least. This is back when the league first announced they're going to have helmet sponsors, and they said who should be at least helmet sponsor, and I photoshopped Pats onto a helmet of Austin Matthews.
Great scoring chance by Toronto, though, of course, knocking the stick out of Greaves' hands. Toronto, of course, pressuring right now. These guys are moving like hornets. Toronto clears the zone right now, or no, sorry. Toronto back in their own zone as Mermis is trying to help as the Leafs make a change. Robertson on the ice. Wow, this game's moving a lot quicker than it did, say, 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, no, the pace right now is picked up in a major way.
And it's looked like after that Toronto goal, Toronto's finally started to just wake up and just start attacking like you just disrupt a beehive at this point, or you disrupt like an angry family of yellow jackets. Like, I wonder why they even came up with the name Blue Jackets in the first place for Columbus.
That goes back to there's a few different reasons why it goes. It's an old a Civil War reference, if I recall it correctly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's where it goes back to. Because the Union soldiers were Blue Jackets. That's how it works out.
Oh, Nylander with the handles, man. Like, yo, honestly, what's his full name? Because like they were like the Leafs Twitter was busting out his full name.
We did it first a few weeks ago. We broke it out first last month. His full name.
It was like William John Michael Nylander Atlius the third or some shit like that.
No, it's William Andrew. Yeah, William Andrew Michael Jr. Nylander Attilius.
Yo, I'm sorry, William Nylander's Jamaican at this point now.
Why? Because middle name is Junior.
Listen, okay, we didn't even know we had a Jamaican baseball player until the World Series, okay? Because like any man's out there named George Chelston Springer the third, and he has a kid named George Chelston Springer the fourth. That's not a Jamaican name. I don't know what it is.
Did you say the first Jamaican ball player? No, I was gonna say George was gonna smack you for that. Cause you know who his cousin is, right? You know who his cousin is.
Is it Delton Pompey?
Devon White.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I was gonna say George's gonna smack you if you said so.
My bad, man. My bad. My bad. Yes, I know I'm about to catch a death pause at one point or another, but like, yo, we haven't had a Jamaican baseball player from time. Even though George Springer is technically American and Dominican by nature, like he is still Jamaican at that point, man.
But William Nylander having a middle name of Junior, that is peak Jamaican though.
That is peak Jamaican, man. Like, yo, I didn't know the Leafs that actually had a Jamaican player. Yo, we had a player from Yad. Even though we've had actual players from Yad, like, isn't Wayne Wayne's African American?
No,
excuse me.
No, what? Who?
Wayne Simmons.
Wayne's Jamaican.
Wayne's actually Jamaican.
What?
Oh my god.
What? Boy, yo, how you not?
Listen.
Dave.
To be genuinely fair, right?
Wayne is a Scarborough Jamaican man, Dave. The whole time you didn't think Wentz was Jamaican.
No.
The whole time.
The whole dead ass time, I thought it was something else, man.
All right,
yo, where are you going? Where are you going? Oh my god.
Cut out.
Oh my god. I'm sorry, folks. Like, yo, sometimes certain pieces of information sneaks past you. Certain pieces of information just sneaks past you. Trust me.
Yo, I'm crying.
Look. In my defense, right? I did not necessarily know. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Like, again, I know Mark Fraser is an island boy.
Yes, he is.
I'm not sure if Dakota Joshua is actually an Islander himself.
Dakota Joshua, I don't know his background. I don't know what Dakota's background is. I'm not sure about Dakota.
Yeah.
I know, like, so I interviewed him back in 2024 with Vancouver. I didn't ask then. Next time I interview him, I'll ask Dakota. Next time I get him in the locker room.
Thank you.
Yes,
But
I
like,
will.
yo, don't come for me for that, man. Like, honestly, I didn't necessarily know. So that's my bad, folks.
Oh, hey, that'll make a funny clip though.
I feel like when this gets posted on Twitter, I'm
Oh.
gonna get blamed.
Well, I'll go through and see what we can use for social media, but we got a few candidates to use in this spring.
Oh yeah, we definitively have some candidates. How does this man only have 5 goals in his entire career? That's crazy.
I mean, hey, some guys, goal scoring isn't their touch for some guys.
I guess, but still, even then, that's just wild. Well,
I mean, but you know what? I don't want to be mean, but there's some. It's when you go through some of the guys who haven't scored in their careers. You know what was wild? There's an old school D man, old school D man who,
mm,
you probably remember the name Brad Marsh. Played 1,000 games back in the day. Only had 23 goals in 1,008 games. Like I understand he's a stay-at-home D man, but 23 goals in over 1,000 games to me is wild.
how many assists do you have is a better question.
Oh, yeah, you get a healthy amount of assists, Brad Marsh, if I recall. Yeah, Brad Marsh was more of a distributor, but
Hmm.
still, the fact that that is to play a good 17, 18 years in the league
Hmm.
and have only 23 career goals. That to me is, at the same time, he knew his role. He knew his role in
Hmm.
the league. So sorry, Brad Marsh played 1,086 games, but still, like that. Yeah, he had 175 helpers in his career. So can't get too bad at 175 assists for a career. Had almost 200 points in his career, but still 23
Yeah,
goals and you play in the league for that long is wild.
I mean, it's insane, but it's not like it's not feasible, right?
No, again, he knew his role. His role wasn't goal scoring.
I'm gonna pivot away from hockey for a sec. Like, of course, we all know that baseball had just finished 2 weeks ago,
Mm-hmm.
and we're still waiting on the Jays to actually make a move
Yeah.
after Shane Bieber had locked up his qualifying offer. Um, Deadass, do you see Bo Bichette actually re-signing with Toronto at this point?
You know, I Bo is saying the right thing. It sounds like from his camp, he wants to be a Jay. He likes being a Jay. He wants to win in Toronto, but at the same time, it is a business, and he's gonna want to get paid. I've heard
Mm-hmm.
I've heard Boston's been poking around for Bo Bichette, but I do think he does resign. But I think it's gonna be a healthy amount of thinking up. But like, he's not gonna just jump in to resign Toronto. He's going to weigh the offers coming in for him because there's a lot of
Yeah,
teams who want his bat in his glove right now.
of course. And the Yankees are kind of circling around that too. Although Yankee fans, right, they feel like they're going to get everybody and they end up getting nobody. So, like, there's also been speculation that Toronto may end up signing Devin Williams from the Yankees for 3 years. Just
Mm-hmm.
does need a solid closer. Um, and of course, reports are coming out that, like, say, the Japanese pitching sensation Tatsuya Imai from the Japanese baseball league or in the Nihon baseball league.
Mm-hmm.
He says he wants to come out and destroy Otani and Yamamoto. And of course, if you can see on my story, I said Imai would be a Blue Jay at that point. I kind of openly see that happening because it's like if the Jays are going to run it back, the man's going to want to destroy that team left, right, and center anyway.
I mean, it'll be fun. It'll be fun to see him if he goes to Toronto with how the posting works. He'll be a fun Blue Jay. It'll be fun to see.
It'd be nice to actually have like a Japanese pitcher on the roster again. It
Mm-hmm.
was like Yusei Kikuchi was a solid pitcher for the Jays, and then he ended up winning a ring with Houston,
Houston, yes.
and now he's with the Angels.
Mm-hmm.
You
And,
know,
and, and it was up and down tenure in Anaheim for him.
yeah. I mean, my dream like off season list would be re-signing Scherzer, signing letting go of Bowden Francis, even though he just got off of injury. I mean, losing Shota Imanaga to a qualifying offer for the Cubs. I mean, kind of is what it is. But like, getting Tatsuya Imai, getting re-signing Max Scherzer to a 1-year deal, getting Devin Williams, re-signing Bo, signing Kyle Tucker, and then maybe getting one more closer or picking up someone from the Rule 5 draft that's like a sleeper player at that point. And maybe dropping Santander.
I do think they're gonna try run back Santander because again, they want to see if he can play healthy. Because this year was cursed for him. This to me is a write-off year with injuries he suffered through and went through. So I want to see how he can play next year, hopefully at 100% full health.
I mean, if he doesn't play solid, then I'd say trade him. And I want to see Vladdy go back into Yankee Stadium, smoke some more home runs, and just come out and say, "Nah, Yankees lose."
that whole sequence, everything there was just absurdly funny.
Of course it was, and Yankee fans were crying like crazy.
The discourse was interesting, to say nonetheless, over that.
Yeah, I'll say that much.
But either way, but I just found it wild how we saw the MLB awards, and the only J to win a major award was Ty France.
But he got it for his play in Minnesota, not in Toronto.
I mean, that
makes no sense to me. And then the Team Gold Glove goes to Texas?
I mean, I think to me the biggest insult was John Schneider.
Losing out on Manager of the Year, exactly.
Yeah. You know what? You take a team from being in last place last year to being 2 outs away from a World Series championship, and you're not the Manager of the Year?
Especially when you were 74 and 88 the previous year.
But actually, let me correct myself. It was based on regular season performance. Okay, cool. Either way, if it's based on regular season, he still took them to the AL East title.
How did that make any sense? How did that genuinely make any sense? I'm sorry. You go from 74 and 88, dead last in the American League East. The next year, you improve to 80, 94, and 68.
And you win the division.
The East, and you get a first-round bye. Yet, Cleveland somehow goes on a 15-game winning streak at the end of the season, barely scrapes into the playoffs, or into the postseason, and gets eliminated by Seattle. And you win Manager of the Year based off of that?
I mean,
what type of granny sucking nonsense are we dealing with here?
I don't want to be a tinfoil hat man. I really don't. But
no, you might as well say it at this point. Like, Major League Baseball doesn't like Canada. It is what it is.
I wouldn't say Major League Baseball. I would say the writers have shown again that there's a little bias towards the Blue Jays because again, there's level of not seeing them as on par with other teams when it comes to.
Nah, there's a level of bigotry at that point, man.
I mean, look at the World Series, Abe. Look at the amount of writers who came to Toronto and acted like Canada was friggin' Narnia. I understand. I understand. You may not come to Toronto often. Okay, cool. But the writer, like the John Heyman nonsense. Oh, I've been to Toronto in 32 years. I'm sorry.
Well, congratulations, you're a dumbass for that, man. And
your main beat is covering your Yankees. You've been known for Yankees coverage or East Coast baseball coverage.
How the hell have you not been into Toronto in like 32 years? Especially when the Yankees are in the same goddamn division as the Blue Jays.
That makes not like a sense.
It doesn't.
How are you? And the thing is, you know what? Even if he said, I have not been here since 2015 and 2016. Okay, long time, but it is what it is. At least you've been here since.
But like 32 years? Excuse me?
How? And again,
your xenophobia is showing.
It shows to me, and he wrote about how Toronto feels like a small town. Yeah, Because you're right. You're right. We learned he's talking about Toronto before most of downtown core existed.
Exactly. Like half of these writers, like these Sports Illustrated writers, these ESPN writers, these New York like how is it that the New York Times knows about us more than John Heyman does?
Like I, that to me, I said on Twitter that was really it was really malpractice to be a baseball writer and to not go to me personally. If I was in charge of a paper outlet and I have MLB writers, all of you, you should be going to every market at least once every 2 seasons.
Exactly. Not only to update your, or not only to familiarize yourself with the city, but also familiarize yourself with the fact that, like, hey, you could potentially be here in the playoffs and writing a story or writing an article about, like, say, a particular series between
Exactly.
you and say said franchise,
Yeah.
right?
Like,
The Toronto Blue Jays.
yeah.
The fact that the Yankees played the Blue Jays for the first time in what almost Toronto's almost 50-year history,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the Yankees are basically a senior citizen at this point. Where am I wrong though?
No,
Like I mean,
no.
125 years?
The Yankees are octogenarians. The Jays are almost actually the Jays are almost the senior citizens, and
Man,
I feel old saying that. The Jays are nearly at that age where they're considered an old. They can be considered soon an old franchise. That's
same as
scary.
Seattle. Same as
That
Seattle. Seattle was an expansion franchise,
that is scary. Knowing that these teams are approaching year 50.
right? Again, we were out here committing elder abuse against the Yankees during the American League Division Series, but like again, 75-year difference, and Toronto was just putting belt to ass in that situation.
And again, I loved how immediately the idea was, Yankees in four, Yankees in five.
Yeah, Yankees lost in four.
It was just the dismissive nature of the Jays in both ALCS and ALDS. And the World Series as well, too. Every series, people assumed the Jays were going to be snuffed out easily.
Again, beating the Yankees in 4 games, and Yankees fans are still losing their mind, saying like, "Oh, well, you guys choked in the World Series." It's like, listen, we took the defending champions to extra innings twice. We were 2 outs away from beating them. Where the hell were you this
That,
season?
that's the
First off,
thing.
and then second of all, you played that same team last year, and you got your ass handed to you on a silver platter with doodoo stain. Give me with your jersey with doodoo stains on it. Aaron Judge was your best player, and he got shot on. So Yankees fans have no way to talk, and they need to take the dick out of their mouth and realize that, like, they need to be 100%. They need to be 100% humbled in that situation. If we faced them in the world, if we faced them in the ALCS this coming season, and say we snuffed them out the same way, we snuffed them out the same way we did back in the American League Division Series, I swear to God, I'm going to every single Yankees fan that's been chirping us for the last year and be like, listen, tell me how Canadian ass tastes.
Hey, yo!
Again, I'm saying this right now. Like, if the Yankees and the Jays play again in the American League Championship Series with the World Series on the line, and they get mushroom slapped, I'm sorry. Like, I'm personally going out on Twitter and saying, fuck the Yankees, bun the Yankees, excuse my language, for
I,
one. 2, catch the fade. 3, catch the Canadian fade because, like, the North always remembers. And 4, the Yankees will forever suck.
yeah.
The only good player you have is Aaron Judge, and he's the only man I respect on the Yankees. Cam Schittler is a shithead. Giancarlo Stanton can't hit shit worth shit.
I'm trying to avoid some man from the Bronx throwing a brick through your window, eh?
Listen, if they can actually find my city on a map, then like I'll be like, listen, aim as high as you can. But like that ass, you ain't finding nothing.
Oh my goodness.
Listen, we all know that most mans from New York have not passed third-grade geography. Okay, like if you
Well,
were to ask them if you were to ask them to find London on a map, they'd probably be like, "Oh, isn't it overseas somewhere?"
Well,
Nah, London, Ontario, motherfucker.
don't worry. In Zoran's New York, he's gonna fix them up real good. Don't worry. Zoran gonna
Yo,
get them right.
that I feel like it's too late in that situation. I'm sorry, New York is catching slander at this point, man. Like, yo, listen, there are some New Yorkers that actually know where Canada is, and you know what? I got love for them till the day I die. But there are just some New Yorkers that don't know what the hell they're doing. As the third
Um,
period is just about to get underway.
this is turned into Dave. This is Dave versus New York.
Yo, David versus everybody at this point, man.
You know, I don't want to. I don't want to see somebody, run up on you in Bushwick or.
Listen, I don't want to pay bills anymore. Like, yo, dead ass. I don't want to pay bills. I don't want to pay taxes anymore. Like, yo, come for me if you have to. As Wall makes two great saves. I'm not gonna lie, like, yo, imagine being at a hockey game at Scotiabank Arena and like you're still in line waiting for a beer or a bag of popcorn or like just getting out of the washroom
Yeah.
and like, the traffic lane and the traffic for getting back to your seat on the concourse is just mad heavy because it's like again, just being in the arena alone, it's like to see the amount of empty seats on TV. I know people are still just trying to file back to their seats right now, and of
Yeah.
course, like with the NHL saying that like you can't be walking into the arena itself while there's active play, right? Like you'd think like maybe just maybe you get your stuff early, or you probably do in-seat service if you can afford it, right? And I'm not trying to slander fans, but like maybe like try and get your stuff a little bit earlier, try and do things a little bit earlier so that you don't have to get stuck in those lines.
Oh, of course. And isn't Scotiabank going through renovations mid-season right now as well too?
As far as I know, they're doing 300 level.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, they're doing renovations, so that's inconvenient, or that's a little inconvenient.
It's very inconvenient because it's like imagine buying a ticket, right? And like say there are certain things you want to buy in the building, like it's very difficult to, try and get your hands on something that's a little bit more affordable for you, right? Because like of course we all know pricing in Scotiabank Arena has to be very competitive with stuff in the US.
Of course.
It's a known fact. And like obviously like we've heard that fans complain and like we've heard that, like you see the comments on Twitter and on Instagram and on Facebook saying like, oh, these prices are so exorbitant. And it's like, well, obviously the best thing for you to say is like, if you can't afford to eat at a game, don't eat at a game. Eat beforehand. Because it's like you go to Union Station, as we got a third joining us right now.
Oh,
Oh,
let me hang on. Let me address what's going on. Let's see who's tapping in here. Hold on.
great. Hold on.
Oh. Folks, those
Ladies
of
and
you,
gentlemen, we might have a third, we might have a special guest joining us real quick.
Yo, what's up?
What's going on?
Yolo Pinello, Mr. Chris Watkins is joining us. Chris, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. Hold on. Let me see. You know I don't watch hockey games, man.
Yo, we got another brother in the joint here. What's going on?
How's it going? I just put the kids to bed. This is like the one night a month I will actually watch hockey. So I'm committed to the cause.
Wow.
That's comedy. I know you sent me a DM saying, hey, can I, when are you guys gonna stream next? I figure I told you a date. Yeah, I figured. I know I sent you the link a little bit late, so the fact you're joining us is amazing, Chris. Thank you, buddy.
Oh yeah. No, want to come check it out. Want to see what?
Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Watkins, excuse me.
Watkins, yeah.
Chris Watkins, excuse me. I take it you're currently a writer for the NHL, correct? Or
no, I'm was it a muckraker? I used to do more writing and blogging about hockey stuff, and now I just do like occasional consulting and yelling at people, podcasting. Hits.
Attaboy.
Yeah.
Well, nice to officially meet you, of course. This is the boss man himself. Call me Dave.
Pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you as well. Um, outside, I guess you know, since you did state, you normally don't watch hockey on the regs, right? I guess this is your first time watching a team outside of Chicago.
No, I mean I watch enough Make Believe games to make fun of their fans. So I'm
So you're watching today, pretty much.
yeah. I mean this was all predicted. The current state of the team, and so yeah. I mean it's actually kind of sad now. It's not even fun to kick them while they're down anymore. It's so bad, but yeah. I mean the team used to be fun, and now I mean look. I also have to scout Easton Cohen as a Blackhawks fan because apparently that's who they're going to trade for our top defenseman. So
You know, it's hard to hear fans from like other hockey spaces, especially like even though Avery's from Edmonton and he covers the Oilers, right? Like he still has a bit of an investment in the Leafs,
sure.
and like, just watching this team alone, like it's very difficult to try and. Oh, there we go! John Tavares has tied the game with a one-timer right in front of the net as it is tied at 2 with 16:27 left in the third.
That's a massive goal for Tavares. That's huge.
Yep. Wasn't his odds were like plus 1100 to actually score from FanDuel?
Were they, eh?
Yeah.
I'm clearly on an American tape delay because I just just saw it 2 seconds ago.
Great. Wait,
But it's
where's the
nice
game
goal.
being where's the game being broadcasted? Is it on ESPN?
FanDuel
No, I'm
Network.
watching the yeah, I'm
FanDuel
watching the
Network? Okay.
TSN feed.
Okay.
Oh yeah, the
Easton
American
Cowan.
feeds. The
Easton
American feeds
Cowan
don't
with
play
the
on here.
feed. As Tavares is getting triple coverage, man. He's getting like
That's nice.
it was a 3-on-1 situation and just right in front of the net. Tavares just basically rifles it home. Ekman Larson, of course, also getting the secondary assist as well. That's crazy.
Oh,
Tavares has a goal and an assist as well, trying to keep pace with Werenski or no, Voronkov and Fantilli.
yeah, I wanted to ask you, Chris. It's something funny. There's something funny, Chris, in hockey. I know you are not a fan. You had a pretty funny tweet just now about player salaries, and you, for a long time, you hate guys taking less money. I think that's the funny thing about you. Is like you on Twitter, you rail against guys who take less money to stay with a team. Like, where's that come from?
You talk about beating Jason Robertson's.
Yes,
I don't know if we can curse on here. Beating Jason Robertson's butt if he takes less than 15 million. I mean, one of it is just I came in as an NBA guy, so
Mhm.
those guys don't ever pass up any dollars. So I've never been like, oh yeah, you got to sacrifice for the good of the team. Like, nah, man, you your playing career is limited. You got to get what you can. Make the GM do their job. That's what they're getting paid for, is to figure out how to fit in around the stars that are getting their true worth. So I think that's part of it. Other part of it is just like having gotten to speak with front office folks and agents and players and stuff. I'm like, the agents are just like horrible. I talk a lot about the GMs.
Mm-hmm.
I at least understand, the GM's doing what they're trying to do in service of the team. The agents is just like they're just stealing money, man. Like because it'd be different if they supplemented the player's income with off salary, off ice endorsements and stuff like that. But they're not even doing that. So I'm like, I'm not sure what they're doing. So yeah, whenever a player of like a Jason Robertson or Connor Davis caliber
Mm-hmm.
doesn't get nice save, ooh my goodness.
Yeah,
Uh,
that was a great save by Joseph Wall.
uh, whenever a player of a star caliber does not get the full amount that they should get on the open market, one,
Mm-hmm.
it just sort of speaks to the conservative nature of hockey in general, and then
Mm-hmm.
two, also does a disservice to other players who may actually want to like pursue that, but feel bullied by the overall culture that says you got to sacrifice, your individual, self worth for some team concept that it's not good. The reality is at the end of the day, only one team wins the Stanley Cup. So everybody sacrificed it, but only one team actually gets the benefit. So I'm like, that doesn't really make sense to me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, you're not wrong, and that's a really good point about the NBA compared to hockey, where, I mean, the money is already more than in basketball than hockey. And yeah, you're never gonna see a guy. You're never gonna see Ed Edwards take less money for the good of the team. You're never gonna see Kim Durant take less money. They're in there for them because at any time moment your career can be over.
Exactly.
Well, that not only that, it's sort of twofold. So one, the career ending injury part is the actual part that pisses me off the most because I've looked at the data. When you compare like actual career-ending injuries for
Hmm.
hockey players, like the amount of star players that have had their career permanently ended by some injury is very small in comparison to baseball, where guys blow off their arms all the time,
Mm-hmm.
or basketball, where you saw three stars in the playoffs, tear their Achilles and they're out for the year. You don't have
Yeah.
those type of injuries for star. You have a guy like Austin Matthews who has lingering injuries or something like that, or a guy like Carey Price at the end of their career that has to retire. But in the
Hmm.
prime of the career, there's not the Derrick Rose injury risk that happens. So the fact that players take these longer term deals, knowing the salary cap is going up, they sign to 8-year contracts. One, to me, that's just the agent doing a disservice to their client. The second
Yeah.
part is player movement actually creates more money for everybody else because that's what drives interest, 24/7 interest in the sport and in the game. Where it's like, oh, if the free agent class, if Connor McDavid was the actual free agent this year, where would he go? There'd be 24/7 media coverage of that. Him signing that 2-year contract extension at the beginning of the year was kind of the worst thing that happened to the NHL this year. Because imagine if he went to Toronto or whatever, or speculation that he went to Toronto to sort of fill the Mitch Marner, salary slot. That would fill Toronto talk radio for months on end,
It
and just
really
the
would.
ratings and coverage from that would be amazing.
No, you're not wrong, and that's the thing is that compared to other sports, a lot of NHL guys or most aren't really interested in that whole free agency pursuit. I mean, we saw before with guys like Tavares, other players, but yeah, the hockey mentality when it comes to free agency is so different compared to basketball.
It really is. And, if the sport really wants to get out of its hole of being the fourth best sport in North America and actually be the best sport in North America, like you have to start generating some storylines for yourself at this rate, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, essentially speaking, it's like you don't hear much about hockey during the summer, but it's like
Right.
there's not enough buzz to generate, and it's you don't have those beautiful storylines like the NBA does or the NFL does before the season starts, and you're just like, what the hell? Like, if I'm a hockey fan, like I want to hear if there's some drama in the locker room, or I want to hear somebody cuss somebody out on tape, and then next thing you know,
I
be
mean,
like, yo, let's get traded. Like, I mean, yeah, like I don't want it to be WWE style, but like like you gotta generate some traction for yourself
yeah,
because like friction creates fire, and fire creates a buzz, and it's just
we're never ever gonna get in hockey. You guys remember what was it 2016, the whole Mark Cuban, DeAndre Jordan thing, where they're driving around trying to find him, and the door locked, and Cuban couldn't get in. Like hockey needs something like that.
of course it does, but like some of these guys are too either docile or just like it's not part of the hockey culture to just create drama like that.
Yeah, I mean, and that's where like I really wish that it's old, Cedric the Entertainer joke, but he's like basically, you got brothers in hockey, but you don't have brothers in hockey like that, like of the culture. And not to say that the players are not. I've met a lot of the players of the ACA and stuff like that, and they're amazing individuals and stuff like that. But more so, just like I guess the more American mentality of like, yeah. If Anthony Edwards landed in the NHL, let's just say he decided, to lace up skates instead of, in which he says he could, if you ever heard his interviews, he says he'd be the best
I
hockey
feel
player
like he
ever.
has the
But let's
capability of doing that. Trust me.
yeah, yeah. I mean, if Seth Jones could do it, I'm sure Edwards could do it. If
Listen,
that's
we
the
don't
sport
claim
that he
Seth
started
Jones. Seth Jones ain't black, man. He's just whitewashed at that point now.
in. But a player of that particular personality, and obviously that's why he's always included in the face of the NBA discussions, because just the approach that he takes to his game, just being very engaging with the media, his commercials, social media campaigns, all that stuff like that. Every moment you get a mic out in front of him, he makes a sort of moment or something that may go viral and stuff. And just taking that approach, like I just wish there was somebody like that. It does not have to be a person of of African descent, but just someone who's like, every time I'm getting the opportunity, I'm gonna carry myself forward, but also carry the sport with me. Like, the Kachuk's are kind of trying to do that and fit into that lane, but I just don't think they got the natural charisma to do so.
Hmm.
And so it's like, I just wish that existed in hockey, because I think I don't agree with the best sport, worst league sort of thing, but I do agree that it's a really compelling sport and more people should watch it. But there's just no reason to do so if you're not already tied in.
Mm-hmm.
but I just
Yeah,
don't think
that's a
they
good
got
point.
the
And I think it
national
also
credibility.
goes to
So and
also
so
to the
it's like,
marketing because I remember when ESPN first got the NHL deal. I remember you saw Stephen A. I mean, I know he's boisterous. Everybody likes him, but we saw Stephen A. Smith have segments where he was covering up, making fun of the Oilers and making fun of the Maple Leafs. And
yeah.
that to me, what you need the biggest names on this network talking about hockey for more than just a second or a segment. Like we saw the Cup
Right,
final.
right, right.
And
Yeah.
during the Cup final, PK was on First Take talking about the Cup finals with Shannon Sharp and Stephen A. Smith. And
Yeah,
cool,
Mhm.
yeah.
cool. He's there on First Take. But hockey needs more of that beyond just the Cup final.
Exactly. Like significantly speaking, the only time you're actually talking about hockey is when you're making fun of the Leafs, and when you do that, it's just not only does it create this, not only does it just create a narrative where it's just like terrible at this point, but you're also just out here just saying like, oh, okay, like let me just make fun of the Leafs the same way I make fun of the Dallas Cowboys or the New York Yankees every time they fail. And yet we all know Stephen A's bald head is like basically reminiscent of George Jefferson. And this man's out here basically trying to make fun of a hockey team the same way his baseball team has been trashed for like the last 30 years with one championship in like 30 years, almost 30 years.
Yeah, they haven't won since '96. Cowboys.
No, the last time they won was 2009, and that's after Roy Halladay basically joined the Phillies.
Oh, Yankee. Oh, yeah. Yankees won since '09. Cowboys also '96. But either way, it's been a long time for both those teams.
Exactly.
Right.
I mean, again, at this stage though, it's like it kind of feels like low hanging fruit just to go after the Leafs like that, and it's just like, oh, it's like we're gonna get easy ratings and rile up the Canadians because the Canadians are like only like hockey. It's like, no, we don't just like hockey. Again, the World Series just proved that.
Right. Yeah, no, and I think that's where, like, I mean, to be honest, the Raptors winning in 2019 was probably the worst thing that happened in terms of my love affair with Canada, because I was like, oh man, Canadian fans, they're nicer, more respectful than American fans, whatever. I actually hope they win the cup sometime soon. They deserve it. And then once I saw the Raptors fans' reaction to winning the 2019 title, I was like, oh my goodness, they won't shut up about it.
Nah, see,
No, no,
that's the
we
thing. That's the thing, Chris. That's the thing that people get confused about Canadians. When we win in
That's true. That
sports,
that is true.
we go puff out our
like
chest all day long.
exactly. We're gonna make
It's
sure
all
you
about that
hear
life.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that stereotype that we're always. Yes, we're probably more employed than most. But when it comes to sports, we are as ruthless as y'all down there. We are
No,
cutthroat
we're
like
much
y'all.
worse than that. We are much worse than that.
No, no, no. Yeah, and I've said that that's actually one of the reasons why I think Canada has not won a cup in 30 years, in 30 plus years. It's specifically because of how
We'll
passionate.
tear the bitch down if we have to. Like,
Well, no, but I think that's the issue. I think because of how passionate the fans are and how desperate they are to win a cup, that every team and franchise, above the 48th parallel, takes all these shortcuts. Like the Leafs, but not just the Leafs. Oilers have gone through this. The Flames, everybody else has gone through this, where they're taking these shortcuts that American teams actually just don't have to take. Because one of the reasons why I think Florida and Tampa Bay are so good is because their fans won't care unless they win, and so therefore they have to they can't take these sort of shortcut steps to appease the talk the drive talk radio hosts. They actually have to do stuff that brings fans in on a longer term basis. Whereas Leafs, the Canadians will draw. Bell Center will be packed no matter what, and so therefore they can get these 6'4" guys that can't skate. But punch people in the face and make all the the 5 p.m. callers happy. But ultimately, that's not what's going to win you a Stanley Cup at the end of the day. And that's
no.
just not an appeal that many American teams have to face. Some of them do, like Boston and Minnesota, but a lot of them just like, all right, if y'all not winning, we got 5 other sports we can watch. That's not really the case in a lot of these other Canadian markets, like Winnipeg. We
No,
shouldn't have a team.
no, that's
No,
absolutely fair.
wow! Now you come from Winnipeg. That's
Yo,
wow.
I'm
Winnipeg
always
didn't
coming from
deserve that.
Winnipeg, man.
Winnipeg didn't deserve that, man.
Wow.
They didn't deserve a team either. I mean, look, I was in Atlanta when the Thrashers left, so I was like, all right, man, I was covering the Thrashers. I was one
Okay,
of the
I
I
can
people
mean,
kind of, I
covering
can
it.
kind
yeah,
of see it.
Yeah,
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 I can
I
see,
can kind
yeah,
of
yeah,
see it. So,
yeah.
but like Atlanta kind of didn't deserve a franchise
yeah. I mean, sure.
Atlanta didn't deserve a franchise, especially after like the way they've been moving over the last few years, or
Yeah.
few years of the of like I guess
What here's the
syndication. So
here's the thing with Atlanta. So I do believe it can work in Atlanta, but my thing, and Chris, you probably feel the same way, is that I don't like the fact that they're basically running away from the black people for what's going to be the next team.
exactly,
They're going to the suburbs, and they're basically saying we're going to try and go to the parts of Atlanta that are really white or really away from the urban center. Do you feel the same with that or no, Chris?
I mean, yeah. So in one sense, it could work because that's what the Atlanta Braves did, which is
Mm-hmm.
basically they moved the team out to the suburbs. They built they are basically the model that many sports teams across all sports are trying to follow, where they own the entire sort of land around the stadium, built
hmm
this multi-use property, and then get all the revenue from it. And
Mm-hmm.
so they have been basically the Braves have been the sort of gold standard for a lot of teams when they talk about these stadium deals. The problem with doing that in Atlanta for hockey specifically is while you can do that and move out to the suburbs and do that, if you're going to the Atlanta market for specifically to do that and ignore the black fans again, which was the issue the first time with the Thrashers, then there's 15 other markets that are better at that. They just have larger populations. That's why like Utah made much more sense for an expansion market than Arizona did because you're gonna follow that trajectory. Then Utah is like 10 times the amount of people that fall into that demographic than the suburbs of Atlanta. And so, like to
hmm
me, it doesn't make sense to go back to Atlanta. Just go to Houston first if you're gonna do that. Like if you're not gonna actually, it's a unique market and one that can be very successful, as we've seen with the MLS when they expanded there. The Atlanta Falcons are very, successful and profitable. But if you're not going to actually use Atlanta for like the Atlanta uniqueness, there's no point in going there first. Like there's 15 other markets that make much more sense than going
no, I
back there.
totally agree with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Atlanta, it's a market where, yeah, again, you mentioned the uniqueness. I mean, I watched a documentary on Copa 90 about how things have worked in MLS for Atlanta, and you see in MLS how they have openly tapped into the blackness of Atlanta and making so many black Americans become soccer fans in that area. And you're right, if you're not going to do that, go elsewhere, go to other markets because you're wasting a commodity you could have to build new fans for next few generations.
Just to interrupt, Joel, Toronto is going on the penalty kill again, as Toronto has sustained themselves a too many men penalty.
Mm. Yeah, that.
So, oh, sorry, folks. Columbus has not had a single shot on their power play. I had been mentioned that they had two shots on goal during their first power play, so I want to correct that mistake right now.
So it wasn't too many. It wasn't too many men called, but still, right?
Yeah,
But
no,
see,
yeah. So Columbus has their second power play, and they have not had a single shot on goal in 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
yeah, that penalty to me is that to me is still the dumbest penalty to take in hockey. You took a penalty. You took a penalty because you couldn't count.
Right?
That penalty for always ever make me mad that you got penalized because you couldn't count. You couldn't do simple math.
Right. So instead of having 6 players on the ice, including no 7 players on the ice, including the goaltender, you now have 4, or no, you now have 5, including the
Ooh,
goal.
ooh, great save by Wall. Uh, some great puck movement by Columbus. I'm not doing the commentary, but
Okay. I have to ask you straight up though, like even though
yes,
like yes, you do hate watch the Leafs on the regs, right?
I used to love watch the Leafs. Yeah, I just want to make that clear. But yeah, sorry, continue with your question.
Okay. So let me rephrase that. Now that you have a love, now that you've had a love hate relationship
Sure.
with the Toronto Maple Leafs franchise, right? Like just say now that you're a fan of a different team,
Mm-hmm.
even then it's like if you go into like other hockey spaces and like they start talking about the actual Leafs and everything, right? Like I mean, what's the general consensus? Like obviously we know like we hear the obvious, like the Leafs suck, the Leafs can't do anything, the Leafs can't
Mm-hmm.
play a full game and what have you, right? But like you've seen other original 6 franchises actually win a Stanley Cup, let alone make a Stanley Cup within the last 30 years.
Sure.
This rate, like even though you've seen other teams' successes and the Leafs haven't really done much, like what's your honest to God opinion about this? Because it's like I've gone to Boston fans and I'm like, hey, at this rate, like I mean, I know it's easy to make fun of us. I know it's easy to like harp on us and everything, but like at this rate, would you would like to at least see the Leafs be it's somewhat successful at one point or another? And like I've actually
Yeah,
heard Boston fans straight up say, like, listen, like you guys have been like objectively speaking, some of them have said, like, you have been through hell. Like, yes, a lot of it's been through from us, but like your team has been through hell and they need to do something about this. Like, what are Chicago fans saying the same way?
yeah. I mean, in terms of what Chicago fans, I mean, fortunately, Chicago is like Toronto South, except a little bit dirtier and grimier.
Mm-hmm.
uh, Toronto, the Leafs are not at the top of the conversation in that regard. But so I'll add my own particular spin on it. I won't speak on behalf of Blackhawks fans. So, as I said, I was a fan of the Leafs, particularly, that sort of first couple years with Marner and Matthews and so on and so forth. I thought I did a podcast, with a couple of these writers and stuff like that when I had my podcast and said, like, they can be the Golden State Warriors, Steph Curry Warriors of the NHL with the offensive talent they had in particular at that time. This is
Mm-hmm.
when they still under Lou in the last couple of years of Mike Babcock. One of the things they talk about in the NBA, and I think I actually agree with the sentiment, is you can't pick your superstars. So yeah, everybody wants a LeBron, 6'9" person, that can jump out the gym and do it all. But sometimes you may not have that. You might have a Steph Curry who on the surface does not look like the prototypical NBA superstar. But if you can build a system around them to take advantage of their unique strengths and skills, you can actually get, an amazing outcome. And I think the problem with the Leafs has always been that they did not embrace the unique skill sets of the Marners, the Nylanders, the Matthews, and so on and so forth, and kept trying to build a team from these other modes. Oh, Boston won this way. Oh, Florida won this way. They kept trying to be everybody else instead of trying to be the Maple Leafs and set their own identity. And so at the end of the day, if you can say, like, what was the Leafs identity during this, like, past 7 or 8 years, I couldn't say, like, what type of team they were trying to build because I felt like they were trying to continuously fit a square peg into a round hole. And
Mm-hmm.
so if they would have committed, and I would say it's probably a little bit too late now, but if they would have committed to being offense first and being an innovative, scheme that leveraged the, dynamic skill sets of Tavares and all those guys, Morgan Raleigh and stuff like that, I think they could have been a very successful team. But because they kept, trying to fit into two different worlds at the same time, pulling two
Yeah.
different directions. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you saw the Tavares handles, man.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was
yeah. That's crazy.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's the team they should have been. Like, and Tavares, and so I think Tavares, like, to me, honestly, was the original sin, but not necessarily because he was bad or didn't live up to the contract. But I
yeah.
think it was
Well, what a
chasing
save!
after. Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say what a save! What a save from Greaves on
Oh
Domi.
yeah. But chasing after the sort of, big name, the Nick Folinos of the world, the, Sam Laughtons and stuff, Ryan O'Reilly's who have the name value. It's just a very New York Knicks sort of approach, Dallas Cowboys, New York Rangers approach, which
Yeah.
is the name value didn't necessarily match with the contract or the price that was given up for them. And I was like, oh man, if you would have just taken this approach of, like, we know who we are, we know what players fit into our system, which if
Mm-hmm.
they would have established one, would have helped them identify, yeah, Ryan O'Reilly's a big name, but he doesn't actually match what we need a player to do. We're going to go after this player and not that one and stuff. And so
Yeah.
I think that lack of identity has always held them back. And so I wish they established one. It should have been scoring. There's a thing, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, where I feel like in Canadian hockey coverage, winning a game 4-3 is almost worse than losing 2-1. Where the conversation that literally one of the Chicago writers for the Athletic, Mark Lazarus, who's a friend of mine or whatever, was talking about, hey, you can't win a game, blah blah blah. This fire wagon hockey. They were talking about the Kings versus the Ducks. The Ducks are one of the surprises in the league, but they're averaging like, they're surprising in the league. They're doing very well, but they're giving up 3 goals a game. There was like, you can't play like that. Whereas the Kings are playing worse than them, but because they're only giving up 2 goals a game, it's like, oh yeah, this is honest, good hard hockey. Everybody's playing hard, blah blah. I'm like, that's not the outcome you want. All that matters is that you outscore your team at the end of the other team at the end of the day, whether it's 10-9 or 2-1, it doesn't matter. And so I think there's this just there's just like this aversion in the Canadian hockey markets a lot, where it's like, oh, if you're a offense first team, like you're not trying hard and your team's not committed, X, Y, Z. Like, nah, bro, just win. Like that's all that matters. And so I really wish they would do that, and maybe there's still a chance to turn around. They got young guys like Easton Cowan and stuff like that. Maybe there's a way to do it. I think they depended too much on the goaltending last year, and so now it's like, okay, how do you work your way out of this? And maybe identifying a new structure to the team or a new approach to playing is probably the only way through it. Because I don't know if they have the talent anymore. I think they used to have the talent. I don't know if they have the talent. So now you need the coaching and the systems to sort of to cover for that gap.
And you talk about winning, winning how you can. There's one team that, of course, I gotta bring them up, the Oilers, where right now they're coached to win games 2-1, when really their team meant to win games 6-5, 8-6. They're supposed to be an exciting hockey team, and right now they're a boring team. I mean, sure, they're in the mix, but I don't want to see the Oilers trying to be the Minnesota Wild of 15 years ago. Go and win a game. Go win a game 7-5. No one wants to see them win a game 2-1.
No, I agree with that. It's kind of insane.
Yeah, I mean, you saw that last year, particularly in the series against I feel like obviously they did better and they went to Game 7, the first series against the Panthers, because they were, they went down 3-0, but then they came back, and a lot of it was with their offensive firepower. And then last year they were like, no, we're gonna out Panthers the Panthers. We're gonna play dirty. And you're gonna have Kane taking all these penalties and stuff like that, and they end up losing because that's not their identity. As they say in boxing, style makes fights, and it's like, I'm not gonna out Mike Tyson. Like, I'm trying to out Mike Tyson. I'm gonna get hit in the mouth. I'm gonna get knocked out. Like, you gotta dodge and weave and all that stuff like that. So you can't take that same approach that the opponent has. And so I think that has held them back. And then Stambo was not a good GM for a variety of reasons, both on and off the ice. But I'm not surprised that this is the outcome that they led to.
No, and I've said before for many months on end that the guy to hire as your GM should not have been Stan Bowman for many reasons. He was not the guy. If you want to keep it to on ice, I said before the guy wasn't good for the past 10 years, but Jeff Jackson was so adamant in giving Bowman a second chance. And that's the one thing on hockey we've seen before, is that you can do things, and you can not be good for a decade and still find work. You can not be good for 15 years and still find work, which is absurd to me. Except if you're Ted Nola, you get blackballed for 15 years. We can get another job in the NHL. But if you're like,
colorism at that point.
I mean, look at Lindy Ruff. Lindy Ruff is back coaching the Buffalo Sabres, and Lindy Ruff is mid. He's been a mid head coach for most of his NHL coaching tenure, and the Sabres said, let's run it back. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm all for black mediocrity and stuff. And saying that from the perspective of, like, to your point, there has to be a space where the only, black executives like Mike Greer or something like that should not have to be exceptional to be able to warrant, second and third chances, stuff like that. I'm all for people having losing records or whatever. The NFL notoriously, the amount of coaches who are fired after one season, even with the running records, is like 3 times higher for black coaches than it is for white coaches and stuff like that. I'm like, yo, a lot of people suck, and have the confidence of a mediocre white man. I mean, I won't get into the Kyle Dubas conversation I've had many times on Twitter, but yeah, those are the types of things where it's like, I just wish that space existed for that, but it's a difficult.
Well, that's part of the reason why we're here in the first place, right? Because like we're trying to foster that growth to say, you know what, but on the narrative, let's put some fresh blood into the sport that it so desperately needs, because it's like it's staler than like 15-year-old bread, but like.
Yeah, no, I love that you guys are doing this. I've actually talked. I actually pitched this exact idea to several, people in the media and stuff like that. Of, hey, because I've seen it in the NBA, I've seen it in the NFL, with the Manning cast and so on and so forth, of an alternate, broadcast to the live feed that just brings a different perspective and stuff. But this has been since like 2017. Yeah. So I'm glad you guys sort of taking up the mantle on that. But yeah, like, as like, yo, bro, like think outside the box, think of different ways to engage your audience and find new audiences and just bring different thoughts to the game. And so I think you guys are doing a great job with this.
We
No,
appreciate
thanks,
it,
Actually,
Chris.
Chris.
Thank you.
Yeah, Chris. I know we actually launched it back last year in the postseason, mainly on Twitter Spaces. And
hmm
again, one of the big things that we got in terms of comments was one, we didn't know there was an all black hockey podcast that does this, and also two, it was a space for people to vent because you've seen Chris the idea of a call-in show or a show where people interact on a
yeah,
live
yeah,
stream that's dying. Like radio stations don't want to interact with the audience anymore. You don't want to interact beyond the text message.
No,
And Twitter Spaces gave people a chance to vent and give their thoughts on the Leafs. Like last year, after the Leafs lost to Florida, we had over 600 live listeners to our postgame space last season.
this was what, game 7? Because I know game 5 it was like,
It was about 400 listeners that one.
didn't we have a
no, it's
thousand
crazy.
at one point in one of them?
Was that Dave?
Didn't we have 1,000 in one point in one of them?
I think max is 600. I don't think we got to 1,000. I think the max was 600.
Okay.
You gotta go crazy with the takes, bro. Like,
I mean, it's funny because when the Leafs won games in that series, people just
No one said
didn't.
anything.
No one came. No one listened. But when they were losing games in that series,
oh yeah,
everybody had something to say.
it's a therapeutic space. No, but I get that too because like it's funny when the Blackhawks won, their cups and stuff, and
Mhm.
it's interesting. And obviously, we won, 3 in a very short period of time. But it's interesting how quickly that feeling of celebration and elation dissipates and stuff is like, oh man, we won, and then like it's what's next. Versus the years where you lose, particularly in like a heartbreaking fashion or something like that. That's all you talk about or whatever. So like for me, my favorite team was the Derrick Rose, like Chicago Bulls,
Mm-hmm.
and that team is still talked about like to this day in
Mhm.
Chicago with high regard or whatever. Because what could have been, if Derrick Rose hadn't got injured, we did X, Y, and Z, blah blah. People still talk about that versus any team in the past like 15 years. Bulls team in the past 15 years, no one cares about, right? But that pain, that sort of heartbreak of a crushing loss, and obviously the Leafs have led the league in that for like the past decade. That's something that people can all rally around. I mean, for me, like the cornerstone moment for that, and obviously Avery knows I lost my old Twitter account, but the Canadian series, oh man, because that was like peak. That was like that peak equilibrium of Leaf fan confidence that they still will figure it out. Plus, like everybody else hating them enough and them having a pathway to success where had they won that series, they probably would have been the favorite to win the cup that year. And when they lost that game, and I remember watching it with my parents who never watched hockey, and I was like, "Yo, bro, this is crazy. I'm so glad they lost this game because I'm about to talk so much stuff on the internet. I'm about to troll these fans like the next week and a half because they were talking so much. They were running away with that Canadian division that year, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I can't wait till they lose. Like it was the best thing that happened." And so like just that, the tears and the pain that was going through the fan base at that point in time is great to feed off of. So like even if you hate the Leafs, you kind of need them to succeed enough for the heartbreak to feel good. If they like don't make the playoffs, like when they were under Dave Nonis, no one cared. It wasn't as fun to root against the Leafs or whatever. It's way more fun to root against a team when they're a favorite and then they lose in spectacular fashion when they're late, a 74-point team in the regular season. Like no one cares. And so I think everybody, regardless of how much they say they hate the Leafs, they actually kind of want them to be successful. So I think this current iteration is letting everybody down because it's losing hockey-related revenues, losing attention, it's losing the natural feeling for everyone to hate. Like, yeah, I don't like where the team has gone and how it's gotten here, but hopefully it'll get back on track.
Mhm.
So you mentioned too that the Canadian division, as chaotic as that division was for that 2021 season,
Mhm.
bro, I got so, I said before in different shows and this show as well too, I got so sick of seeing the same teams over and over and over
Oh yeah,
again. Like I was crying. Like I just wanted one game against the Anaheim Ducks. Like I was so sick of seeing Edmonton just beating up on Ottawa every game and taking their food 9 times in that year. I was sick of it, man.
No, I don't blame you for that. And like honestly, like the whole North Division thing was kind of a mess, considering there was only 7 teams in that division alone, and like all the American teams were literally playing each other left, right, and center. And it was just like
Well, they're in their own divisions as well too. They weren't playing in other divisions. They were in their own divisions as well too, Dave.
Yeah, no, well, again, like it's kind of messed up that like that whole situation was just weird, and the fact that you only had 7 Canadian teams playing each other and one team had a night off, and like they couldn't even go over the border due to COVID restrictions. It was just like
Yeah,
it was just wild.
I know.
So
I know for a fact that it really had a hard. It really ruined the AHL. So Edmonton is the only Canadian team, which to me is still absurd, that has their AHL affiliate non-Canada, and they chose to not move Bakersfield to Edmonton for that year. I don't understand that. That to me is absurd. Calgary moved Stockton to Calgary. Edmonton,
yeah.
the only team, didn't want to move the American AHL team to Canada for 1 year, and it caused hell for call-ups. I know that.
Oh no, it really did. Of course, folks, if you're still watching this game right now, the Leafs have managed to bring it to overtime yet again. I think this is like what their third game. No, their third and 4 games where they've gone to overtime and have gotten themselves at least a point in the standings. So the Leafs are currently sitting on 21 right now, and if they manage to win in overtime, they'll manage to get themselves at least within decent distance of a wild card spot.
So there you go. At least get a point. They're trying to get out of it somewhat. They're trying to get things in order now.
Yeah. So who's our overtime heroes? I'm gonna go with Nylander for the Leafs, Fantilli for Columbus.
Let me get Sean Monahan for Columbus, and I'm gonna go Morgan Riley for Toronto. How's that?
That's proper.
Man,
Chris?
you stole mine. I'm gonna go with Marchenko for Columbus. And I hate this man, but I'm gonna give him his due. I'll say Jake McCabe for Toronto.
Here we go.
He
Oh,
was so
Gordon
bad in
Shannon.
Chicago. Oh, nice nice chance there. Um, I feel like the Leafs played decent
Great save by
tonight.
Wall. Here we go. Here we go. 2-on-1. 2-on-1.
What?
Scott Laughton. Oh, okay. Never mind. There's the boy you should have traded for. I want the Mamba Plat.
Okay. I mean, that was a nice move by Cohen or whatever. Like,
Yeah. I gotta genuinely ask though, like, does the game seem a little more fluid with it being 3-on-3 in overtime, or like, do you miss the whole 4-on-4 or 5-on-5 or overtime?
oh, this is way better. Even though the coaches try to break it, but
Yeah.
overall, I think it does create a different dynamic. Like, yeah, it's not real hockey, but I don't think overtime hockey is either. Quite
Yeah.
as it's kept because of the loser point. Like, I hate the loser point. Like, and this comes from I just watched a bunch of sports that didn't have ties or anything like that. So I'm just like, bro, just play to win. Yeah, the whole concept for playing for points. Oh,
What
I
was
don't
that?
even know who.
What was that Ted Lasso line? Getting a tie is like kissing your sister.
Yeah, multiple times. Like, yeah, no, it's the worst. It just rewards. I said the same thing. There's a bunch of things that the NHL does that just kind of make no sense to me. Like the year, the year of COVID when they had the bubble and they were using that to decide the lottery.
Yeah.
And basically, they rewarded teams for losing to get in the lottery as opposed to being in the playoffs. Like it was more advantageous to. Oh my goodness, sorry.
Yeah, and the bubble. I mean, or even, or even the bubble year, the bubble playoffs. Oh, you see the Blue Jackets trying to get a chance. Like, remember when? Yeah, remember they had the. Remember when they altered the postseason where you had those games, the division leaders playing in regular season games, which were playoff games,
Yeah,
had a shootout.
that was
Oh,
the
that was first.
Lafreniere year.
Yeah, like that to me,
That was
like
the
what?
The rules made no sense. It punished teams for making the playoffs or whatever. Like the Blackhawks and the Canadians made the playoffs when they shouldn't have, and therefore didn't qualify for the lottery. It didn't make any sense. Like those are the types of things.
Yeah, so
technically, the Stanley Cup qualifiers were just stupid.
Yeah, too. Yeah. Technically, you had about 6 playoff games that had a shootout, which you'll never see again.
Yeah,
like that to me is just so stupid.
That was absurd.
Like, why did you had a postseason with 2 different rules in the same postseason?
Okay, they should not have this rule where you can carry through your own blue line and 3-on-3 to maintain possession of the puck. Like, you shouldn't be able to carry past the red line. Like, this is just a nonsensical rule that discourages good hockey play.
3-on-3, 3-on-3 overtime needs adjustments in a major way. It has to be adjusted.
Yeah,
because it's supposed to be 3-on-3 is supposed to be always exciting, but you're seeing NHL teams, to be quite blunt, being far too cowardly in overtime.
Yeah,
nobody's taking severe chances.
Yeah, 3-on-3.
I take back what I said. This sucks now.
No, you're right though, Chris. 3-on-3, it's become I don't want to make a mistake. I'm too scared. No.
Yeah.
Listen, scared money don't make money.
Exactly.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. Well, as we say that. Oh. Okay. Once again, I get the
Adam Fantilli.
That was nasty. Who was that? Oh, Fantilli. Oh, okay.
This man really loves playing in Toronto.
Wow.
He really loves playing in Toronto. I have to say, whoever missed out on this guy in his draft year is really shooting themselves in the foot right now, because I feel like had he stayed in Michigan and gone with the Red Wings, I feel like the Red Wings would have actually had some decent firepower to actually get themselves maybe back into the Stanley Cup at that point.
I mean, would they use him right? Because Steve Eisman as a GM has been, questionable.
Yeah. But as a former Wolverine, this guy is unstoppable. I've always seen this man play, and this man just knows how to light a lamp, and he just sticking the dagger into Toronto hearts.
Well, I think this is perfect. He's his game has always been straightforward, blow by everybody. He's like that physical athlete, NBA style, the Randy Moss style, whatever. It's I'm just faster and stronger than you. And so I think 3-on-3 is a perfect forum for him.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, he just kind of walked. I don't know who the defender was on that, but yeah.
Well, folks, there you have it. Leafs had many chances to actually get themselves back in this game. They managed to tie the game, but could not create the comeback as the Leafs lose to the Columbus Blue Jackets 3-2 in overtime. Adam Fantilli with 2 goals and an assist, including the game winner in overtime. Dmitry Voronkov with a goal and an assist. John Tavares with a goal and an assist. But it's not looking great in Leaf land right now. The Leafs are now 1-4-2 in their last 7. And the Leafs are now 4-4-2 in the month of November. Again, folks, this is your season game of the week, and all we're just doing is just putting salt on this meat right now, and we're just salt brining everything, because there's no other season you could put on this on this hockey team that is the Toronto Maple Leafs right now. But this is just crazy. This is just crazy. This ain't no duck breast anymore, man. This is just a piece of chicken with a lot of salt on it.
And before we wrap things up here, just want to get your final thoughts. I'll start with our guest here tonight, Chris. What have been your thoughts so far? I guess not only watching this Leafs team, but what have been your thoughts in general in terms of how the NHL has gone so far at the quarter mark this season? I know you haven't watched much hockey, you haven't watched much games this season, but just what have been your impressions from what you watched around the league in limited action you've watched so far?
I think the Leafs. Obviously missing out on Marner is definitely creating a lot of issues because I don't think they were a very deep team to begin with. And I don't think the guys they brought in were were enough to sort of fill that gap. So yeah, I think this is the sort of circling the drain season for the
Mhm.
Leafs. Maybe it'll lead to a come to Jesus moment from the front office, but who knows? As far as the rest of the league, I actually think I think this is probably the most interesting the NHL has been in a while in terms of with the young teams like Anaheim, Chicago, and San Jose on the come up. Colorado doing well, and then the other sort of contenders lurking in the background. I'm curious to see what Florida looks like at the end of the year. Carolina can get over the hump. So yeah, I mean, I think the game's in a good place right now.
Mhm.
Um, but but yeah, I mean, I wish for example, that the free agent class was better and stuff, and that there were more trades and teams could actually get better organically by identifying players that fit it. As I said, as very hard as I am on NHL GMs, even if you knew exactly the right player you wanted and the right moves to make, you just can't make them in the current NHL with the CBA, with the no trade clauses and stuff like that. So I
Mhm.
think it's good that a lot of these teams are growing organically with their young players and stuff like that. But if that wasn't happening, I think the league would feel very static and old. And so I wish there was just some way to change up the dynamic of, it would be great to see Connor McDavid somewhere else, or it'd be great to see, like when Mitch Marner goes to Vegas to see how that plays out. And so I think overall the sport is in a good place. Matthew Schaefer is also another sort of revelation. I
Mm-hmm.
think a little bit overrated at the moment, but I don't want to ruin anybody's fun on that front. Just enjoy enjoy what you enjoy. So I think overall the game's in a good place. We'll see how the rest of the season plays out. I kind of need my Blackhawks to lose a little bit more because the last thing I want to do is ride this goalie sort of sugar high to a Midland 10th overall pick when we can finish top five. But other than that, yeah, I think things are good.
Mhm.
Dave, your final thoughts on the game tonight? What you've been seeing again as the Leafs again can't get a home win, and again struggle to find consistency against the Blue Jackets.
How do I say this without going off the deep end right now?
Uh oh.
This team needs Jesus. You know, you can bring Johnny Barr back. You can bring Dave Keon back. You can bring Daryl Simmons back. You can bring Yoris Salming back. Oh, you can get Matt Sundin out of retirement, and this team's still going to go to Cancun. I don't know what else to say because it's like it's starting to become a problem in Leafland that like these guys cannot convert. And again, give it to Toronto to finally find some fight within, say, this like midway through the second and through the third. But again, I said this earlier on during this live stream. You need to play a full 60 minutes. You cannot half-ass your way through things. And ideally speaking, right now, Toronto is, well, let me put it this way. The fandom ain't dying, but it's bugging the fuck out. Bugging the fuck out. you know? And like I'm not saying this to be hyperbolic. I'm not saying this to be dramatic. I'm not saying this to be over the top. Toronto right now need help. They really need help. And Tavares is doing so much. Nylander is doing so much. Joseph Wall can only save so many shots. It's I don't know what else this team needs to do. Like apparently there's potential talk of trading Matthews, which is absolutely asinine. Because like if that actually happens, like I feel like this fan base is done with this team, flat out.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I agree. I think moving Austin for a lot of people would be the end of their fandom, at least this generation.
Not even with the generation, I'd say with like say a good significant portion of the fan base. Like like obviously you don't want to go to that extreme, but right now like it's starting to look like Toronto really needs to find a coming to Jesus moment because it's like it's not the coaching anymore, it's not the management anymore, it's not the front office anymore. I mean, partially it could be in a sense, but like these players right now, and to quote a Shorzy line, these guys hate to lose. They just genuinely hate to lose, and they don't want to win right now, and it's kind of embarrassing. and they need to find something, especially some type of like, I don't know, some Haitian magic or some island magic somewhere. But like, I don't know if they need peanut punch or punchin or some callaloo or some jerk chicken or something. But like, yo, these people need some flavor in their life in order to wake up and actually play proper hockey.
Yeah, they might need something. I don't know what it is, but with that being said, I'll give my final thoughts. You know what? In this Eastern Conference, again, getting to that point where it's gonna get scary real quick, where you need to rack up the points. You can't keep dropping points to teams inside your conference or inside your division, and you
Inside
can't
your own, yeah.
exactly. You can't have that happen too much longer. And for this Maple Leafs team, this cannot be a year of regression where this team, for example, loses in the first round or misses the playoffs entirely. You want to get past second round, and if you take a hard step backwards this season, whoo, there's gonna be a lot of soul searching in Toronto come this spring.
You can't fire Treliving for that because like Treliving's done everything he can to help you. You can't fire Berube because Berube has been doing everything he can to help you. And it's like at this rate, it's like it's on the players at this point.
Yeah, it's gonna be it. Well, we'll
I,
see.
I,
Go ahead, Chris. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I know you guys are wrapping up. I'll quickly add my 2 cents as an outsider who has no dog in this fight at this point. I would say I think a lot of stuff has defaulted to was the players, and we needed a mix, and we needed to get Marner out of the door. What I would say is this: I think ultimately, and only because I've been saying this for years, I think ultimately the sins of the Shanahan and Dubas plan was, as I said, not embracing that identity of the skill sets of that core four that they had, and they
Mm-hmm.
missed so many chances over and over again to maximize that team when they were at their peak, when they had the talent, when everybody was younger and more fresh and spry. And now, because they missed those opportunities so many times, it's basically just like, they left out the car out the garage, but didn't put any gas in the tank. And it's like, all right, doesn't matter how fancy the car is, if you don't put the proper gas in the tank, it's not gonna go anywhere. And so I
Mm-hmm.
think now, because you hit this limit, well, we tried everything and stuff like that, except trying to do the one thing that you should have been doing all along, which was like finding ways to maximize the players you had instead of angling for players in a style that you didn't have in the door. So I think like, yeah, it feels like, well, we got rid of everybody else. Now Matthews and Nylander are the ones not stepping up to the plate. But it's like, nah, bro. When Matthews was cooking and winning Hart trophies and scoring 60 goals, you all didn't give him anybody that can get him the puck from the back end.
Mm-hmm.
When Nylander was doing this thing and Marner was a Selkie candidate and stuff like that, you all didn't give them any secondary scoring to help make up for the fact that they went 14 straight games scoring 2 goals or less in the playoffs. And so I think like, yeah, right now it's obviously like people are looking around and say, well, we got to find someone to blame. But I think like, unfortunately, the people who are worthy of the blame are already out the door at this point. And so it's going to be hard. I do think they really do need to identify is probably trading Matthews, but in a way from a position of strength where it's like, all right, we realize, we're going to trade them to a team like, I don't know, we're going to trade it to a team like Anaheim and get, 5, top tier prospects back or whatever, or something like that. I don't know what that type of trade looks like because it never happens in the NHL, but you almost have to look at this and be proactive as a front office and identify a move. I mean, for me, it's always, play, get rid of your defenseman, play 5 forwards. It's something that just shakes things up, but you can't just go with the status quo going forward. So that's my 2 cents. As I said, as an outsider, if the Leafs don't do anything, it is what it is. I think they have the protected pick. Maybe they can get Gavin McKenna or something like that to sort of maybe change up the dynamic. But outside of that, yeah, I mean, I think it is. I think it is what it is. I think the expectations are still tied to what the team was 3 or 4 years ago, and it's just not realistic for what the team is now.
Yeah, unfortunately. Well, folks, like I said, Toronto is 1-4-2 in their last 7. Leafs right now are currently hurting. Their next game will be on Saturday in Montreal, so that's going to be a very interesting 60 minutes. Other than that, Leafs just couldn't get the job done, and John Tavares apparently trying to put the team on his back. And Joseph Wall trying to stop everything he could, but unfortunately, just sour grapes in that situation. get back to it again on Saturday. All right, folks. This is pretty much it for us. Just to give you a little bit of an update on out of town scores before we pop out of here on this live stream, real quick. First things first. Just to give you a couple finals here. Panthers win 1-0 against the Devils. Flyers win 3-2 in overtime against St. Louis. The Islanders blank the Red Wings 5-0. Capitals basically double up and destroy the Montreal Canadiens 8-4. Ovechkin moved into 10th all time for points as he has hit a hat trick. Other games that are just getting underway right now. Kings and Sharks are just about to face off. Same with the Stars and Canucks, and the Senators and Ducks. Vegas and Utah right now. As Chris is just about to leave us, thank you for coming through, Chris. A lot of fun. You're more than welcome to come back anytime.
Yes, sir, Chris. Yes, sir.
I think he just froze, or he's just pretty much gone.
He just froze.
Yeah. Blackhawks are up 2-0 on the Kraken in the third, and the Oilers are up 1-0 on the Lightning in the third as the game is almost done. Rangers and Avalanche are tied at 1 at the end of the first as well. So there you have it, folks. It is what it is. We're pretty much done here. We will be back for another episode on Sunday. So, Avery, final thoughts before we bounce?
Gotta respond. Need a better response from the Leafs going forward. So that's all I gotta say about that.
Yep. All right. So for Chris and Avery, this is your boy Dave saying like, follow, subscribe. Subscribe to us wherever you get your podcast from. Follow us on the socials, and make sure you like this video. The more you like, the more we post. The more we post, the more we get our message out there. As I say, no games, no gimmicks, just straight whining about hockey. That's what we do here at Toronto Third, and that's what we're going to do going forward. All right. Until next time, thank you for letting us grace the space in between your head top, and drink your water, mind your business. Deuces.
Okay, stream is offline, just taking out.